It takes a second or two. All right, we are live on the YouTubes out there. Hi, I'm Ty Johnston. I'm the Cameo Dungeon Master tonight for the Unnamed Adventurers Guild, and I used to be a regular Dungeon Master for the Unnamed Adventurers Guild, and I looked back on my YouTube channel, and the last time I DM'd for the UAG was July 18th of 2018. So it has been more than 3 years. But I'm back, and we've got four guild players tonight. I'll let them introduce themselves, and I will start off with Charles.
Yes, tonight I'm offering up for sacrifice Drusilla Deuterin. And she, of course, if you see her true self, is a drow. She would be having white hair, lilac eyes, polished obsidian skin. And she rather sports a rather sporty outfit. She's 5'6", 115 pounds, but she likes to disguise herself a lot and mess around with identities because it helps her blend into proper society as far as the other elves that look down upon her parentage and the humans and such. So she generally uses her disguise kit to dress herself up and coat her skin to make it lighter and color her hair at least to an auburn red. And so she looks a little bit more half elvish than dark elvish. As far as a little bit of backstory, yeah, I'll give a little bit of backstory. Let me put my eyes on. This thing is too small. Her mother was Shadow Durin, claims to have lineage back to Storm Durin. Drusilla is proud of her connection with her cousin Drizzt. Her father's name was Cart Banglow, a drow elf ranger warlock of renown. Though, we'll make this shorter. One day, as a young adult, she saw a dark, shadowy figure kill her parents, and she vowed justice. She has a silver teardrop earring made from a real teardrop of hers when she found her parents dead, given to her by Mistra, her deity. So, roll on over to you guys.
Okay, well, cool. Next up, I will go with Isaac.
Perfect. Just took a bite.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Timing was better. I'm Isaac. I'm playing a Kenku monk who has traveled far from their original temple that they trained in. And as per Kenku standards, their name is the sound of a cup being emptied. But most people call her Cup for short. And Cup is definitely the kind of person who is kind of traveling the world to learn what it is like and to expand upon the teachings they learned in the temple, and is very much kind of chill individual, very much okay with doing the simple things and not really worried about the normal concerns of money and worldly desire. But sometimes it still overtakes them. So that is Cup.
Okay. Cool. Next up, I'll go with, let's see, who's next to left to right? Ryan.
Yeah. So I'm Ryan. We're playing Grimdak Fireforge tonight. Grimdak is, looks-wise at least, fairly stereotypical for a dwarf. Standing maybe slightly tall at about 5 foot. No, that's not right. 4'1". He has long braided hair with a braided beard, all kind of reddish color. His work at the forge has led to a fairly tan complexion, and also led to him pledging his service to Moradin, who grants him a small amount of power, and probably would have been content with his life as a clan-crafter, working the forge, creating works, were it not for the fact that a few years back, a strange event happened where a psychic wind from the astral plane carried psionic energy to him and imbued him with the powers of a sorcerer. Strange effects happen largely whenever he uses these powers. Small motes of light tend to flicker around him. More recently, he has acquired a gem from the astral sea. He's not entirely certain what its purpose is or what he's going to do with it, but it does act as his current spellcasting focus because he likes the connection there between the astral sea, and that's where his powers came from.
Cool.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. And last but not least, Alex.
I will be playing Delnus Oros, a half-elf who had appeared in the guild a while back and had declared himself the master of magic, but after some time of succumbing to madness from all the energies traveling through him, in a moment of clarity, he decided to exile himself and focus his mind and energies to a more beneficial and clear path. And ever since then, he maintained his pact with Titania, Queen of the Summer Court, but he's also pledged himself to Elistrali, the drow goddess of the moon and redemption, and has focused himself to the natural world rather than what he had done before.
Okay. Cool. All right. You got to simplify things and just to get right to it a little bit. I can either say you guys are all at the guild hall in Illumina, or if there's something you want to be doing, somewhere else in the city or whatever, you would probably get a note. A runner would come to get you to ask you to come to the guild hall, that there is a mission, a paying mission. So if there's anything you guys want to do beforehand, just let me know if you're shopping for something or doing something else. If you want to blow off the mission and go drinking in a tavern somewhere, that's
Perfect. Classic D&D.
No.
I do have a question, but I'll let other people go first.
I'm
Drizella.
content to have Grimdak be at the guild house.
okay. Who was it that had a question?
Me, Isaac.
Go ahead.
So emptying cup, often will deliver messages for people as kind of a job people give them since they're pretty quick on their feet. Would it make sense for Cup to be the one to deliver the message that is this job?
If he's been hanging around the guild hall, sure. The
Sure.
secretary up front would basically give him a note to find, basically go out and find at least 3 or 4 to 5 fellow guild members that you can. And she could probably name a few. But at the same time, guild members come and go and always doing their own thing. So, but you're fast on the feet, so you may know some people know about where they're at. But sure, yeah, you can be the one to deliver the message. And she'll even say you can even take part in the mission for that
Okay.
matter. She will tell you beforehand
Well, what is it?
the rate pay is 50 gold, which doesn't sound like a ton, but there's also hazard pay. So if there's 50, it's straight up, you're at least going to get 50 gold, but if it becomes dangerous, you'll get paid more. How much more depends on how much danger.
Oh.
If Darzanon shows up,
That is a higher number than.
you'll get it. If Darzanon shows up, you'll
Right.
get at least another 10,
Exactly.
another 10 gold.
At least.
At least.
Drusilla would, hearing through rumors and such of the strange killings, would perk her interest because of her experience as a young adult, and possibly thinking that dark, shadowy figure may be behind such. So she will come and inquire at the guild as far as the particulars, and try to gain more information if it is there at the guild hall before going deeper into investigation.
Okay. She will find out. Let's see. I'm actually looking at the map of Illumina at the moment. Okay, I found what I'm looking for. All right. Basically, all the secretary knows is that there apparently have been a series of murders. She's not exactly sure how many. On a riverboat, a smallish ship called the Persephonus. It is owned by a human merchant named Tersiminus. And if anybody needs it, I can write his name in the comments. And I spelled it wrong.
Don't feel bad. I have that problem all the time.
The second one is correct that I put in there. He's not a super wealthy, powerful merchant, but he's doing well enough to own his own ship. He basically does short runs back and forth between Illumina and Redgill. A lot of the larger ships that are bringing in goods from overseas. In the last couple of years, instead of going all the way upriver to Illumina, a lot of them have been stopping at Redgill there and unloading their goods. And then smaller ships from Redgill will take the goods on up to Illumina. So they're kind of acting, so this Tersiminus and some other merchants like him are kind of acting like a middleman, but they're also saving, ship captains a few days. So
yes.
Again, Tersiminus is doing all right, but he's not super wealthy or super well known. But yes, he has one ship of his own, and there have been a series of murders fairly recent on his ship. And he doesn't know who or what is doing it, and is asking the guild to look into this. He can be met to provide more information. He has an office down by the dock in the northwest of the city. Let's see. The dock is to the east of the old damaged bridge there. I believe it's off. It's not too far from Water Rat Road. That makes any sense to anyone. But
Yeah.
he has a small office there, and you guys can find it. I mean, it's a public office. It's not like it's hidden or anything like that. You guys could definitely find it. And apparently his ship is not too far away, or is docked not too far away from his office. So, Empty Cup, you're going out to find some other folks. Let's see.
Yeah.
Drusilla is there. You're there. I think Grimdark said he was there.
Grimdark can be. There's something that, yeah, there's no reason he wouldn't be.
Okay.
He could also, like, if he's not there, he's probably at the temple to
Morden. That would be a good place to look for him then. Delanos, are you out and about, or are you at the guild, or?
He's out in the fields.
Like literal fields?
Yes, literal fields.
Like outside of the city?
Just outside the walls, like the little farming community that's out there.
Okay.
They probably don't want him there after what he's been doing all night.
What has he been doing all night?
Depends. Is it a full moon?
Let's find out.
Yeah.
It's right in the middle. Half and half.
Half and
So
half.
it's not a full moon.
Okay, so it's just this. Basically, the farmers would probably just see this guy in full plate dancing in their fields. Get out of here, field man.
So in the middle of the night, an old guy with a walking stick and two young bucks with him are going to walk out in the field to where you're at. Excuse me?
Yes. How can I help you?
Whatever you're doing out here in my field, can you do it somewhere else?
Well, it would be dangerous too, but I could, I guess.
That's not my problem. You're ruining my crops.
Oh, well, you look around. I guess I am. Well, you've been polite and all, so I guess I will. And he'll just lift his staff. And he's going to use Druidcraft to repair the damage.
Much appreciated.
And he says, very well, have a good night. He's going to kind of walk away from there.
Thank you. He returns to whatever little farmhouse he's got, but the two younger guys stay there for a while. They just stand there in the field, kind of watching to make sure you're leaving. And they have clubs. And they're like, yeah, he knows better than to try something.
Yeah, he's just going to... Actually, he'll just head back into the town. Or into Illumina and head to the guild.
Okay. Well,
After that, he doesn't need anything.
Okay. And just for curiosity's sake, what were you trying to do in that field?
Elistrai requires you to dance in the moonlight. Every so often.
Okay. So you had a quota to meet.
If it was the full moon, I'd have to dance naked. That's why I asked.
Oh. Well, it was only halfway there, so I guess you could have danced half naked. Yeah,
I took my shirt off.
they probably wouldn't have just walked up to you if you'd been naked. They'd have used slings from a distance, thrown things at you. But as you're walking towards the guild, I'll just say it's morning time. You're walking towards the guild hall, and Empty Cup comes out of the guild hall. And
Hello, little fellow.
Yeah, an empty cup has been tasked to find people. It seems like there is 2 of them already shown up, and this person seems like they might be entering the building. So Cup, who is not necessarily wanting other people to take the money that they're going to earn from this job, goes the lazy route and says, "Hey, are you interested in work?"
Well, I most certainly am.
Dang it. All right. There's a job. Boat captain is looking to pay people to figure out. Well, it's a very dangerous job. There's been murders on his ship, so you might want to be careful. But that's
careful is my middle name.
Okay. Well, I have a message right here that gives the details.
It's a good thing I can read. And he'll take a letter and he'll read it.
Yep.
And it's to you. It says Delanos Careful Oros on it. It says Careful
thank God
is your
they
real
knew.
name. Yes. No. It doesn't have your name on it. But yeah, it's just the basics about the mission, which I went over earlier, and I can do so again if you need me to.
No. He'll be like, well, it's a good thing I'm right here then. And he'll just go inside the guild.
Okay. And the secretary said it would be about 3 to 5 people, so Empty Cup probably figures this is enough people, especially since he sounds a little greedy.
I can't think of any reason why that would be the case. Anyway, I will join behind Delanos and point out the people who have shown interest. Actually, did Grimdeck show interest? Or
if we're saying he's at the guild, then yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's so.
it can be. Okay, well, the 4 of you are there, and the as per orders, or actually suggestion from the guy who's paying, he's going to go ahead and give you 20 gold beforehand.
Ooh. It must be important.
Well, in case there's any expenses.
I guess, is this in platinum or gold?
It'll be in gold.
Okay.
It's in iron pieces. It's in iron pieces. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's 20 gold each.
Okay.
So if you consider 20 or 50 gold a lot, then you're probably either going to think, wow, this guy's rich, or 2, this guy's an idiot and isn't used to paying for things like this.
Or 3, this guy's really desperate.
Or he's really desperate. That could be. But yeah, the secretary who's at the front desk of the guild hall will show you on a map about where his offices are. I mean, if any of you are locals, have been in the city a while, you probably know where they're at. But yeah, it's in the northwest side of the city, down by some docks up there. His office apparently faces those docks at a corner building.
Oh, well, I don't see why we shouldn't see him.
And it's morning. It's not like super early, but it's, early enough. So
He'll cast prestidigitation to make his armor nice and shiny.
Nice and shiny.
And clean himself, I guess, while he's at it.
Okay. And it's you're more in the central southern part of the city, sort of where the guild hall is. And he's in the northwest, so it's going to take you a while to walk up there.
Yeah, you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4 large blocks.
Yeah. So I mean, it's something you can do, but I mean, you could take a horse or something or whatever. And to make things a little harsher, and because of the dice roll I got, it's morning. It's early enough that the streets are actually pretty busy. People are going to their jobs or duties or whatever they've got to do. So it's a little slower normal. It's a little slower walking than maybe normal or at another time of day.
All right.
So yeah, even if you're on horseback or you call it for a carriage or something, it's still going to be a little slower than you'd probably like.
Well, nice to meet you again, Grimdak. And the messenger, Cup, correct?
Yes, that's what most people call me.
What do you call yourself?
All right.
Interesting choice. And you, young lady. I will now call you All Right from now on.
I don't. Whatever.
And if you're talking to
Couple say,
Drusilla,
"My name is-"
I did barely heard you. You guys will.
I thought I heard somebody start to say something.
Yeah, it was Isaac. I didn't hear him.
Oh, my mic might be too quiet. I'll get to fix that in a moment. But what Cup said was, "My name is."
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and keep calling you Cup.
That's rude not to call him.
No, that's you said it wrong.
Oh.
Yeah, you're putting the accent in the wrong place.
Yeah,
bleh,
Yeah.
and that translates as
Nothing.
It's a common. It translates to emptying cup
ah
because it's the sound of a cup emptying.
ah.
And you, fine lady?
I think
you
he's
talking
talking.
to me? Drusilla, being Drusilla, asking that?
Well, I'm not speaking to the dwarf. Unless I'm mistaken, of course.
I don't know. I was busy in contemplations of who this demon that is doing such foul deeds may be doing. I do believe we need to gain more information and
Indeed.
such. And she'll throw her auburn hair back over her shoulder and say that if it's who I think it is, this will be a day of reckoning.
Ooh.
Oh, you already solved the mystery?
No, but she's going to imply that she has the motivation in her thoughts, that it may be the shadowy figure from her earlier days that did enter her family.
Well, no time like the present then. We should investigate by heading to the office first and getting testimony.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
He's
So
going to look at Grimdak and he's going to be like, "You're going to have a hard time with her, that's for sure."
Who am I going to have a hard time with?
I'm going to leave it at that. And walk away.
oh, you're not going to say.
Grimdak not getting an answer will... you guys all note this kind of small ball of light appear near his head as he forms a telepathic communication with Delanos. And he'll say telepathically, who am I going to have a hard time with?
The elf, obviously.
It should be fine.
Oh, wait a
And
second.
as-
Delanos is half elf.
Yeah, but I'm wearing full plate armor. You can't see my ears.
Why, your armor doesn't have ear plating just for the ears?
Yeah. I'm not a tabaxi, okay?
Before
That's true.
Drusilla ends up going outside, what she will do is pull up the hood on her cloak and pull her cloak kind of more so around her to give her some shade from the morning sun.
Yes, it is quite bright outside this morning.
No.
The weather is what above grounders call good weather. Sun's out, it's warm, it's nice weather.
Sun's out, blunderbuss is out, am I right?
They don't have those here.
Oh. Sorry, voice in the sky.
Or I don't think they
What
do
is this
anyway.
one? What is this blunderbuss you speak of? What arcane magic is it?
Yes. Arcane magic. Moving along.
Okay, so it's going to take you guys a while to get there, especially with the road will start thinning about the time you're getting there. People finally get to their jobs or wherever they're going in the morning. However, on the way, if you want to stop somewhere for breakfast or for any other things you need to do, you are more than welcome to.
I am willing to provide a small service of providing good berries. Though I know Grimdack is not appreciative of it.
They
Well,
just don't fill you up.
it's no Egg McMuffin.
Yeah, if you hand me a good berry, I eat it. If you hand me another good berry and say don't eat it, I will keep it in my pocket.
Okay.
And Drusilla will definitely partake of it.
He'll cast Goodberry and give everyone one. And he'll give another one.
Perfect.
Great.
Even I, the player, don't like this. That's the way it is.
You have nobody to blame but yourself.
I don't. It sounds like I need to start speaking the accent too, because this is how this game is going. Yeah.
You guys get there to the corner facing the docks are across the road. You can see the river there, and there's some ships. There's mostly boats. Ships they're large boats. There's nothing massive here like you would see out in the ocean or at the sea, but there are some pretty large. You also see some barges there. And you see a sign over a door, a hanging sign that says Proprietor Thrasimenus, owner of Persephonus. And that's obviously where you're planning to go.
So, who would like to take the lead on this investigation?
Looking at the dock area, are there hands out and about, and is the harbor master there?
You don't see the harbor master offhand. There is a little building that has his name and title written on it, and the door is open, but you don't see anyone outside of that. As far as dock hands, yeah, you see about 15, 20 guys busy getting some boats ready to head out in the water. Again, it's morning, so some of them are heading out to wherever, Red Gill or beyond maybe.
Yeah.
Some of them are even fishermen.
And what Drusilla will not whisper, louder than whisper, but lower than normal volume, would say to them, why don't some go see our customer, and then some of us can question situations around the dockhands to see if they know anything, and we can maximize our time.
Yeah, split the party.
Perfect.
Hmm.
Yes,
Well,
all of maybe a couple hundred feet.
I could talk to the Dockhand. Or the other guy. I'm not really that fussed.
well, why don't you you can pick your partner before I.
Well, you're pronouncing my name correctly, so why don't I go with you?
Excellent. I guess we'll take the investigation inside and speak to our quest giver.
Okay, so Delanos and Cup were go into
It's fun to say.
the office of Trisimimus, and am I correct that Drusilla and Grimdak are going to the dock?
Certainly seems that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll say telepathically, see, I left you with the hottie.
Yeah, great, thanks. And as he says this, the ball of light that's been kind of following him around blinks out of existence.
End
Great.
call.
He hangs up.
Okay, I'm going to do a little bit at least with Drusilla and Grimdak first. You guys are walking towards the dock. Give me some perception rolls.
All right. My perception. Let's see here. Boom.
20 for Grimdak.
Oh, yeah.
Well, alright then.
There. Boy, that's going slow.
Calm down, Charlie.
Oh, are you using
20. Roll 20.
20.
Okay, both of you, that's definitely really good. Both of you notice the dock is busy and most of the ships are busy. Again, either fishermen or people loading or unloading or getting ships ready to sail. However, at the farthest end of the dock, the largest of the boats / ships there, you both noticed is empty. There's no one on it. There's no one working on it. It's just sitting there bobbing up and down. And it's the only boat that there aren't a bunch of people working on. So you just noticed that right offhand.
Drusilla will look to Grimdak with a puzzled look, as isn't that strange type of look, and wait for a response back from Grimdak.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm guessing that's probably his ship, though, and that he's not sailing at the minute because people keep getting murdered.
But there's
Let's go
no...
talk to some people.
Yeah, so we can do that. But the strange thing she'll say is there's no loading or offloading or even a watchman to make sure the ship stays safe.
Yeah, now that you mention it, that is kind of odd. Well, let's
But
go
let's
and
go talk and get rumors.
Okay.
yeah. Grimdak, as they're walking over, will expend 2 sorcery points to cast Detect Thoughts without using any components.
Okay.
And I say as they're walking over, he'll do it just as they start talking to the first person, because it only lasts for a minute. But when he casts it using sorcery points, there is no verbal, somatic, or material components.
Okay.
So there's no sign it's being cast. It just takes effect.
Well, everybody seems busy. There's nobody standing around with nothing to do. So if you're going to talk to someone, you're going to have to yell at them or stop them or something. It's up to you. Most of the people...
Drusilla, in that
No, go ahead.
case, Drusilla, in that case, will open up her cloak that she's draped around her to help protect her for the most part, around her left leg, open that on up, and her upper thigh and hip, and then just kind of with an exaggerated push forward, kind of do a sultry move there to try to gain one of their or two of their attentions.
Most of the workers seem too busy to notice
Okay.
you. They're more intent in their task. But one guy, one big, strong-looking guy with red hair, he's a human. He's like carrying a crate, and he just drops it and is staring at Drusilla, and his eyes get big.
And she'll look at Grimdeck. There's one we can talk to. He's already perceptive.
Great. Grimdack, who thought this reading people's thoughts thing as we talked to them was a good idea, is suddenly less keen on the plan.
Are you turning the spell on this guy?
Yeah, his intention is, as we ask questions to people, he'll not turn it on them enough that they have to make a saving throw, but just kind of read their surface thoughts.
The words swing and hubba hubba come to mind.
Yeah. Grimdack will look at Drusilla and say, I think you have yourself an admirer. Why don't you take the lead on this one?
And I
she'll,
want her to...
she'll slowly move on up like a cat. And she'll make sure that she sways those hips from side to side exaggeratedly.
He is visibly salivating and licking his lips.
She'll walk up to him and say, hey, big, strong, and red. I've heard that these docks in this area is not safe. Is that true? And if so, would you protect me while I'm down here looking for shipwreckage?
It's safe during the day when you're here with a big, strong man like me. Have my babies.
We can talk that later. But could you tell me what the trouble has been down here that made it so less than tasteful?
Well, I mean, it's usually pretty safe around here and has been until recently. The harbor master has guards. And then, I'm around here, so that stops a lot of trouble. But that ship down there...
She'll paw his shoulder and chest with her right hand and bring it down lightly, slowly, taking the middle finger and just doing an S while she pulls it on down.
Gosh.
And say, that is so comforting. Is
He
to
closes
know
his
that
eyes.
someone...
No.
When you touch him, he closes his eyes and visibly shivers.
And she'll then say, could you tell me what they have found?
Found? Well, they found some dead bodies. And he points to that largest ship that's sitting empty. He's like, yeah, that one there have been a bunch of people killed on that boat at nighttime.
How were they killed? I do like a good grisly blood letting at times. It's nothing but more seductive than even a good feast.
Well, I've not been here at night when it's happened. But I've heard stories of all kinds of things, like bodies chopped up and blood all over the place. One guy had his head ripped off.
And you'll see as he's describing that she seems to arch back and just shiver a little bit. Not in fear, but in excitement.
And if Grimdack is still reading thoughts,
he is.
One, yes, this guy is totally enraptured by Drusilla, but you definitely can tell the things he's telling her. He has no idea if any of this is true or not. He's just telling what he's heard in taverns and rumors and things like that.
Okay, but he's not just kind of making it up himself. These are things he's heard from.
Yeah,
other
no,
people.
he's not going out of his way to lie or anything like that. He's just saying things that he's heard, and
passing them off as facts.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, he doesn't seem to have any intentions of lying. Very much just the opposite, in fact. And he will say to Drusilla, "It's like, if you want to come back tonight, maybe I could sneak you on the boat. We could look around. Maybe it's haunted or something like that. If you like spooky stuff."
Well, she'll say, aren't you just the accommodating gentleman that knows how to tickle my heart as far as that? And you do that for just little old me?
Yes, and if anything should happen, I'd be there to protect you.
Oh, well, let's say it's a possible date. If I'm here at dark, wait no longer than 30 minutes, because then I may be in trouble elsewhere.
If you get any trouble, you just come back here and find me, or if you don't see me, ask for Torque. And
Torque. Oh,
yes,
such a strong, solid name.
he'll actually
Your
flex
family
one
must
of
be.
his arms.
Your family must truly know how to name their prodigy.
Yeah, I had thought of it that way, but I suppose so.
Then it's a date.
Tonight at dark.
Yes.
I'll
Just
bring.
you and me in the shadows.
Good. I get paid at the end of the day. I'll buy wine and flowers.
All right.
And now I'm going to switch inside to Delanos and Cup.
Oh God.
You guys walk in a door.
Your turn, Cup. Go seduce the guy.
Yep.
It'll have to be you, Cup, because I'm an old man under this armor.
Well, this is a human. You see a human balding male, probably in his 50s, sitting behind a desk. He's got bifocals on, and he's going through some paperwork and a quill and ink and signing some things. And he looks a little flustered and a little busy because there's papers all over. This is obviously an office. And there's a few gold coins, like literally just a few, like on the table next to him. And he doesn't look up as you come in the door. Let's see if he even notices. He does. He does not look up, though. He's scribbling something, and he's like, "I'll be with you in a minute."
This is rather important. This has we are with UAG, and we are getting involved with the murders on the ship.
Oh, as soon as you say the words or letters UAG, his head pops up, and he stops writing. And he's like, "Oh, thank goodness. I thought it might be days before you got here." He'll stand up, and he'll be like, he sort of moves over towards the door and gestures out it, and he's like, "At the end of the docks is my ship Persephonus. Yeah, I've had 3 people murdered down there, or I think it's murder. It looks like murder to me. And it's put a stop to my business. Nobody will work for me anymore."
You were there then.
Go ahead.
You were there the night it happened, correct?
No, I wasn't there the night any of it happened. We usually leave a guard on the ship at night, and it's them who've been killed. The next morning we go to load up. Then we find the guard dead.
All right. Are the bodies still there?
No, two of them have been buried, and I guess the third one his family has.
Do you know who his family is?
Well, the last guy was James, and I guess James's family has his body.
And is he a city guard or is he sword for hire?
Oh, neither. He's just one of the sailors that worked for me. We
Okay.
usually left them a short sword or club, whatever they wanted, and a little food. And I just have somebody there every night. I don't now because nobody will do the job. And I
Right.
don't guess I have to worry about it because I don't have anything on the ship at the moment and everybody's afraid to go near it.
That they do have good reasons for that. Do you know where this James fellow currently is?
No, I don't offhand. I think his family lived up on Water Road somewhere, or maybe Seabrigham Street, that part of town. A few blocks from here, but I don't know the details. I could maybe look through my papers here and find an address.
If you don't mind, it would save us a considerable time searching for
Let's
him
see.
ourselves.
Okay.
While this guy is explaining things to Delanos, since Delanos seems to have that part well in hand, Empty Cup is going to move over to the desk and just look to see what he was busy with writing. See if they can recognize what it is.
It's basically business forms for the most part. At a quick glance, it's some kind of business forms. If you look a little more, he does not seem to notice what you're doing or either doesn't care. They are orders for various items. A lot of it seems to be wood or lumber or furniture. And he is writing letters, apology letters to people saying he cannot fill these orders at the moment.
Okay.
Is kind of what it looks. That's what's on top anyway. That's what you see.
And that's what he seemed distracted with. So that was what I cared about. Yep.
Yeah. And after a couple of minutes, he goes through some stacks of papers and he pulls something out and he's like, okay, 167 Seabrigham Street. That's right. I think that's right. Where Seabrigham Street and Water Road run into each other. Small little place there. And actually, let's see if I can screen share here. All right.
Yep,
Let me
there
get
they are.
Okay, you guys are basically over here on the left, and the place he's talking about where you need to go is this little place right there.
Thank you for all your help.
Or
Is there
that's the address he gives you anyway.
is there anything that you can think of that might have stood out from what had happened? Potentially damages to the ship, or anything abnormal about the injuries?
Well, there's been no damage to the ship. I mean, maybe some minor, very minor damage, and nothing was stolen. I can tell you each of the three guys died a different way. Okay. The first one was Martin. It's like about 2 weeks ago. He was a guard. I left duty. And best we could tell, Martin fell from a crow's nest. That looks like how he died.
And there's no way that could have been an accident.
Well, at the time, that's what I thought. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think anything, you know, maybe he'd been drinking or something like that. But then a week later, just a week ago, Tom was strangled to death. And it was pretty obvious. I mean, there were like marks around his neck and stuff. It looked like he'd been strangled to death on the foredeck.
And do you think it was with bare hands, or do you think there was a garrote involved?
Was a what involved?
Garrote. It's a
Oh,
type of wine.
I don't. The marks looked. I mean, I'm no expert at this thing. The city guard did come by at least take a look. They said it looked like hands or claws or something. I mean, I didn't see any blood or like claw marks, but it looked like hands to me or something big, relatively, like human-sized hands did it. It didn't look like a line or a rope or anything like that to me. And then just a few nights ago, poor James, we found him also on the foredeck, not far from where Tom died. James was the weirdest case yet. He looked like he had been strangled too. But James was a young guy, like barely in his 20s. And his hair was all white when we found his body.
And that is very abnormal.
Yeah, so I don't know if maybe somebody used some kind of poison on him that, I don't know if there's something like that would change somebody's hair white.
There are some things that come to mind, but I wouldn't know without seeing it. And the man that you said I could talk to? Redhead?
Oh, that fella out there. I've been trying to hire him, Torque. I've been trying to get him, and he won't go to work for me. Nobody will go to work for me. Torque,
Well,
Torque,
we'll get
Torque,
to
Torque works down here at the docks all the time. He usually doesn't sail, but I think he even works for the harbor master some. I'm not real sure of the relationship, but I've been trying to get him.
Well, he seems to be talking quite a lot now. Well, we best get underway with the investigation. I have a colleague to return to. Thank
Okay.
you for all your help.
If there's any other questions you got or anything you need, just let me know.
And Dalnos will shake his hand. Fairly well.
Oh, he'll shake your hand back, and he'll even put out a hand for Cup. Though he seems a little hesitant.
Yeah.
Not like he's afraid or anything. Like he's kind of confused. Is like, do you have a hand to shake?
A couple raise a hand. It's got like feathers coming down from the bottom, right? Like as if it was just trying to be a wing.
Okay.
But, it's more like a failed wing than a bad hand, if that makes sense.
He will shake it kind of gingerly. Again, not like he's afraid or he's offended or anything. Just kind of like he doesn't really know what he's doing. So
Yes. Here is a very important member.
Okay. Well,
If you say so.
Thanks again.
I did have a question.
Sure.
You sail from, you deliver supplies from Red Guild to Illuminon back, yes?
Yes. Most of them go on to other parts of the world from that point.
Have you delivered anything between the time of the two employees being killed? Have you been at dock for 2 weeks?
No, we've only been at dock for about a week. After the first death, Martin, because I mean it looked like an accident. Yeah, we went a couple of times between here. Or actually, we went down. We took a load of furniture from here down to Red Gill. was elven furniture, fine stuff. Um,
Of course.
dropped that off, and then we picked up. I think it was just a bunch of wheat, which I don't normally do food stuff. It's normally lumber and wood. But you do what pays the bill. So we brought back a load of wheat from Red Gill up to Illumina, and the boat's been sitting here ever since.
And I don't know this area well. Do we? Is the travel between Red Gill and Luma longer than a day, or is it short?
Depends on the time of year and how the river's doing, but it's about by boat or by ship. It's about a day there and then another day back.
So there was an evening when you had supplies in Red Gill, and nothing happened.
No, that's true. No, nothing did happen in Red Gill.
Interesting.
But again, even when we came back here, and the wheat we had got loaded off the ship. I mean, nothing has been stolen from the ship, or at least nothing I've noticed, and no real damage of any kind. And
Well,
yeah.
the thing is, we may need to consider that these are not all these deaths. These deaths may not all be connected. The one 2 weeks ago could have been an accident, as you mentioned. It seems like the type of death is completely different from the other two. Bad luck, but
I suppose that's a possibility.
Let's
it's
save
not
our
happened
judgment
nightly,
for the
so-
proper investigation.
well, my point, I think, is that it's actually possible that taking the ship out of dock would be helpful for your business.
I agree. I can't
Assuming
get
you can hire
anyone to.
anything.
I
Yeah.
can't get anyone to get on the ship to sail it out of dock.
But we are here to guard and help. So perhaps.
Hell up.
Well, Delanos, I'm trying to make money here. We will figure out this investigation one way or the other, but I appreciate your assistance in the matter, Captain.
Oh.
And I'm sure we will. There will be options going forward. That's all I'm here to say. We're
Oh.
here to help.
Well, thank you.
Cup is fine, yes. Most can't pronounce it. It's a Kanku name. It's fine.
Very well. Well, again, if you need anything else, let me know. I've got plenty of work to do.
Yes, we'll let you get to it.
While I'm not making money. So even before you leave, he plops back down behind the desk and picks up a pen, dips it, and starts writing again.
All right. Empty cup will
I'll
leave
we'll get outside.
building and, off some distance away, I kind of lead Delanos away and say,
What was the issue you were having?
Why would we take the boat away?
Why wouldn't we take the boat away?
We need to investigate it.
Right. We can go with the boat.
Yes, but then we'd be stuck in the water.
Okay. Do you have a fear of water? Can you not swim? I understand. My apologies.
I'm in plate.
That would make it harder to swim, I agree. You're not stuck to it, are you?
And Grimdak and Drusilla see your companions come walking out of the office.
Yeah, so I kind of have an attachment to it. And I'll finally get in range of them.
fair enough.
Drusilla's got a date.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
Go
if
Go
you
ahead.
guys walk away, Torque's eyes just follow Drusilla.
Yes, so we have an address to investigate the body. And of course, there's always the boat.
I didn't mean to
Well-
interrupt. Are you, do you have a moment? I say to Drusilla.
For what she'll say.
A conversation, and, seeking a nice building, perhaps. We have some information that may be pertinent to the problem.
Well, we found out some interesting facts from the longshoreman that is down here,
No, we didn't.
and he he was telling me how they were killed, and uh, about and what ship and like that. And he's actually going to show me at dark where they were killed.
Just so that we're clear, that guy's got no idea what went on.
He seemed to have every idea in the world. Sounded reputable to me.
I was reading his thoughts as he was talking.
I mean, anyone who says the word kilt will definitely be a trustworthy source in my book.
Kilt?
Kilt.
Good old
Kilt
Scott.
him dead.
Gratified.
Strangled him with a twisted kilt.
That's right.
Well,
But yeah, the things he was telling you were rumors that he'd kind of picked up on here and there. He didn't have any idea whether they were true or not.
Either way, it seems like having an extra muscle there would be good for Drusilla anyways. Should we get to the address and check the body?
Check the body for what?
Well, injuries. It may lead to discovering what weapons this creature has used. From our conversation, the first death, Martin, was pushed off from the crow's nest. And the second death and third was a strangulation. But the third death was different as it turned the young man's hair white.
Huh.
Okay.
And I don't know about you, but there's not many creatures that I can think of at the top of my head that would cause a strangulation to turn a man's hair a different color.
Well, maybe the strangulation didn't do it. Maybe just the touch. There's certain foul beasts that just their mere touch can kind of put advanced aging upon somebody. So if he was touching them and strangle them, trying to speed the process of death and eating that body's soul, it could be one of those. But
I feel like that
These are
Torque
only
fellow wants
tales.
to do all that to you, too.
say what?
I feel like that Torque fellow wants to do that all to you as well.
It's maybe a possibility, but if he's the one doing it, then we'll set a trap and we'll catch him.
Oh, you'll catch them all, right? And I just laugh. I kind of elbow bump Grimdak, even though I know he's not completely entirely involved with this.
But Drusilla will turn and say, if we're going to look at her dead body, can any of you, because I've heard of some clerics and some people being able to talk to the dead. Can you talk to the dead?
I can, but they don't answer.
Well, that's not much use then. Maybe we need to get a cleric or a holy person that can talk and get answers.
Well, I can talk and get answers. I just can't speak to dead.
I feel like you're being purposely obtuse.
Oh well, I have a quota to fill.
Great.
Anyways, we won't get.
If you're done being unhelpful.
Oh, I'm unhelpful. Why don't we go investigate that body or the boat? I'll leave the decision up to you.
I feel like we should go and see the body, and then tonight we should just hang out on the boat every night until something shows up.
Well, the
Might take
last
longer, but it's
incident
probably the
was
least
3
amount of
days
effort.
ago, so we would be waiting for quite some time. But there's nothing that says it's never been showing up before, so I
Is there
agree.
a consistent is there a consistent timescale to these happenings?
The owner said once every week.
The first one was about 2 weeks ago, then one a week ago, and then one 3 days ago.
Also, like,
there was a week
4
between the
days.
first and second, and then 4 days between the second and third. So any night now.
All right.
Countdown.
So we do have time to go to.
I mean, yeah, it's like 10 a.m.
Yeah, we'll go to James's abode then.
Okay. It's a little later in the morning, so the street's not quite as busy. You walk up there, basically along Seabrigan Street. We're in it and Bywater Road. And it basically looks like a small apartment room. The door is shut. There is an entrance onto the street. And like I said, the street's not nearly as busy as it was earlier that morning, but there are people out and about. And there are clouds building up in the sky.
Are there any street urchins around begging or just looking
not
out
a
of
single
place?
one. You don't see a single one. In fact, you don't even see any children or beggars or nothing like that.
And Drusilla will kind of hushly say, this lack of younger folks, these kids, not being present, does not one find that strange?
Not entirely. They're probably seeking better targets. I mean, nobody's down here in the middle of the day.
But we see none, she'll say.
Well, it's hard to beg for money from all the other poor people.
It's not the poorest part of town. I mean, it's not a super nice area, but it's not the poorest part of town.
Yeah, but the idea is it's not a target-rich zone. There are better places to beg for money than other people who have no money.
So are you guys having this conversation like right out in front of the apartment door?
Sure, why not?
That's fine. Because somebody got a nat 20 on their perception roll.
Okay.
And the door opens up, and there's a human male there. He looks like he's also in his 50s, about the same age as Tersiminus. And he's kind of glaring at you.
I'm sorry to disturb you.
You can take your conversation elsewhere, please.
Actually, we were looking for somebody who has been recently deceased.
He raises an eyebrow.
We heard of a young man that was murdered doing his duty, and we are investigating his murder.
We're from the UAG, he says, holding up his badge.
Okay. He steps outside and pulls the door
Uh,
closed behind him
yeah,
and
I'll step
cross
back and give
and,
him room.
and he crosses his arms. Uh, he's like, "So you're looking into my boy James's death, huh?"
Yes.
He kind of glances behind him. Look, try to keep your voices down. The little woman is sleeping. It's not been a few good days. I've had a hard time getting her to sleep. But finally she's down. What is it you want to know?
Well, we wanted to investigate his body and see what kind of injuries he had sustained. They normally I wouldn't inquire such things, but from what I was told, there were strange circumstances and damages that he received that were different from the others.
Okay, look, the priests aren't coming by till later this afternoon. He's here. I'll let it you in to see him, but you've got to be quiet. My wife's upstairs sleeping, but the body's on a cooling board in the kitchen. If you want to
Couple actually say, perhaps only some of us. I look at Delanos and Grimdak with their heavy armor. Should come in, just like one or two.
Oh, you have another cleric with you?
What? No, I mean, perhaps we could be quieter if only those who are quieter come in.
Oh, you think I can't be sneaky?
Drusilla will say
Yes.
that I can ensure that we're quiet in there to the husband and of the father of the lost son. I can 100% ensure that it'll be quiet. So your wife would not be aroused.
and how would you do that?
And then with that, she will go ahead and in Draconic, she will speak a couple words and let's see here.
It's probably better than my option because
Thunderbolt.
I was about to just turn into a giant dire wolf.
Totally sneaky.
Hey, I got a +4 to stealth.
You might have
Let's see what-
a hard time fitting through the door.
Well, it was that or being a giant spider, and I think the giant spider would be more terrifying.
You know, if you can wild shape, you could just pick like a regular spider or a regular wolf.
No, why would I do something like that?
I don't know, to be sneaky.
Or a nice little quiet bunny rabbit.
That's right.
No.
Cat.
And Drusilla will cast silence on Delanos's helmet.
And how big a range does your silence have?
20-foot radius, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
20-foot
really
radius.
quiet. It's really quiet around all of you at the moment.
And then Drusilla will go with her hands to the father and throw him on up. Like, see?
When Delanos realizes what's going on, he'll kind of just tap the front of his shield so it's obvious that they can't make noise.
The father says something and then kind of looks down and then looks at Drusilla and the rest of you guys. He claps his hand together. Then he shrugs and opens the door and motions you inside.
There we go. Drusilla will follow his lead.
Delnos will walk in and head towards the killing table.
Okay. It's not a real big place, so you do see stairs that go up. So there may be more room up there. And he'll take you in the back room. It's a small kitchen, and basically there's a table there, and laid out upon the table is a body in not expensive, fairly nice clothes.
Yeah,
And at a quick
Delnos.
glance, you don't need to make perception rolls. At a quick glance, it looks like an old man with white hair.
So I'm just gonna look at Grimdack and just stare at him. Then I'm gonna walk to the body.
Okay.
I'll follow.
It's got kind of a high collar. Like I said, it's a fairly nice, but not overly pricey suit he's got on, the body that's laying there. And it definitely looks older. I mean, it's obviously a few days old, so there's some decomposition has set in slightly.
Actually,
but
that's not even that bad.
It looks older than the guy who. Yeah. It looks older than the guy
not
you've
that
been
bad
talking
for
to.
investigation. Yeah.
So
So I'm going to point at Grimdack, make a mouthing motion with my hand, and then like tap my helmet.
While you're doing that, emptying cup will medicine check the injury on
and
James.
Is
wow,
Ryan here?
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay.
wow, empty cup
Cup
is
can give me a medicine roll.
wow, empty cup is doing that. Drizella will go and look and check the body out, but at the same time, she's going to take 5 gold pieces and she's going to slip it either into a cuff of the tunic or just underneath to where hopefully the father or whoever, when they move the body, will be able to find it.
Okay.
Grimdack eventually will form a
He
telepathic
doesn't seem to
communication.
notice you do it.
All right.
Ready to.
So what did Cup
we have a
get?
telepathic bond, so
I sent you a message on private chat.
yeah. So we have a telepathic bond now. I say, empty cup has
Oh,
already
okay.
started,
I see.
but
I see it.
we can do a ceremony if Cup
Cup, you-
finds out information.
Cup, you can tell this person was attacked about their neck. It does look like someone was strangling them or trying to strangle them, but that's not what killed them. This person died of a heart attack.
Okay.
You're with that good a roll, you're fairly certain they died of a heart attack or something like that.
Right. And as a quick side note, my internet sometimes does weird stuff, so I don't I'm probably talking over people and I can't tell. But
Okay.
just letting people know that. Hopefully it'll clean itself up in a moment here. Yeah, Cup can't tell anybody that. But looking at the strangulation damage, does it look like a hemp rope or does it look like claws, big hands, etc.?
It looks like hands. You can tell from sort of the red marks. Do you have any kind of arcana skill?
No.
I do.
What's your level?
Character level is 8. I guess I have nature, so if it was a
Yeah.
natural thing.
Oh, okay. Well, you're but you're a fairly 8th level. You're a fairly experienced adventurer. The damage to the neck seems to be 2 types. Some of it is just natural strangulation damage, but there's something else there, kind of like a darkness beneath the skin that's more than just bruising. It seems you're not sure if it's magic or what, but it seems unnatural for sure.
I'll just point it out to Delanos, since you were also looking at the body, I believe, and can communicate with Grimdack because of the stuff.
Yeah, if you're gonna point it out to me, then I'll look at it. And I do have Arcana as a skill.
Give me an Arcana roll.
Grimdack will assist in this, given that they can communicate at the minute, like they can share ideas as they look it over.
Advantage on
Okay.
Arcana?
Grimdack's proficient in Arcana as well.
Sure. Yeah, you can have whichever one of you wants to do it. It doesn't have to be that high a roll, actually. You're all experienced adventurers. That's good enough. There's some necrotic damage there.
That's interesting.
Some of it's kind of a mix. A little of it is just good old bludgeoning damage, but actually most of the damage seems to be necrotic.
But he died from a heart attack.
I
That's-
wasn't able to tell you that.
yeah.
But,
That or something very similar. Yeah, his heart stopped. That's what Cup seems to think.
Okay.
Which is
Well,
probably
medicine
just as
check.
well, because if it was still beating and he was still dead, that'd be really weird.
it does do that, but I figured if you died from necrotic damage, it would have been like shock, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Necrotic damage would just cause body failure.
Let's see. Grimdack says to the Delanos, I'll be right back, and ends the telepathic communication. He'll then initiate telepathic communication with the father of this kid.
Just checking. This isn't a spell that you're having to use a verbal component, correct?
Correct. It's just a bonus action feature that I get as a Aberrant Mind Sorcerer.
You're back?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
I just have to be able to see them, and they have to be within 30 feet of me.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Once the communications are, it lasts 8 minutes, as long as we're within 5 miles of each other.
Okay. He kind of stood back to give you all room, and he's just kind of staring at this body with his hands clasped in front of him. He looks kind of worried, but he's not freaked out or anything. Until he hears your voice in his head, and then he kind of looks up. And
Yeah, Grimdack has kind of approached him and is standing in front of him as though you would like to have a conversation.
okay, his eyes get kind of big. He's staring at you.
Grimdack will say, apologies. I wouldn't normally initiate this kind of communication with a stranger, but due to the magic in place, we can't make any noise. Rest assured, I can only hear what you think to me, as if you were speaking.
He's thinking, "Oh shit, what is going on?"
I can initiate telepathic communication for a short while. You said the clerics were coming by later today or tomorrow?
Yes, they'll be here about 3 bells this afternoon. Let's go bury my boy.
Would you mind if I said a prayer over him whilst we were here?
Who's your god?
Moradin.
Oh, by all means. Go ahead.
Excellent.
Too bad we need verbal components to cast ceremony.
You do.
You need.
Oh,
Yep.
Let me double check that this works on spells. When you cast the spell, so that can be any
It
spell.
depends
That
on
has
whether
to be
you have
on
subtle spell
I do.
or if you do have the aberrant mind. It's in
I
your
have
aberrant
both.
mind selection.
Yeah, I will expend a sorcery point to cast Ceremony. Using subtle spell so that I don't have to do verbal components.
Okay.
Ceremony does have a ridiculous casting time, though. Maybe
Yeah, it takes like an hour, but
yeah, silence is
he'll go
going to
ahead
be
and do it
over
anyway.
long before that.
Yeah, he'll go ahead and start it.
I'm going to guess that you're making it so he can't become an undead.
Yeah, funeral, right?
Okay.
Delanos, seeing that he doesn't need to be around for that ceremony, he's going to head outside and take his silence with him.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, as long as Grimdag doesn't get overly loud, the mother upstairs apparently does not wake up.
Yeah, once the silence goes away, Grimdak is muttering in Dwarvish, but kind of under his breath. Prayers to Moradin.
Okay. Mom got a perception roll. She rolled badly. You're good.
Yes, and Grimdak, while he may have disadvantage on stealth checks, does have a +6 to his stealth, so
Okay.
he's actually pretty good at it. His armor's just on.
So what are the rest of you doing for an hour while Grimdak's in
Actually,
here doing the
Well,
ceremony?
while he's doing that, towards the end, Drusilla will wait toward where she starts feeling he's almost done. And then what she'll do is she's going to cast Fairy Fire on James. So to make the prayer and everything, the ceremony going there, to give the father even more hope that something divine is going on.
Nice.
Oh, his eyes kind of light up, and he actually starts crying a little bit. And he
Do
will
I
even
add
take to
one
his.
more to it? Do I add one more to it?
You want
He will even get down on his hands and knees and start praying next to his son's body.
And that's when Drusilla reached down and hugged his shoulder to give compassion and comfort.
He'll look up at you and smile with tears in his eyes, and then he goes back to praying.
Just
I could, but I won't.
And after the ceremony, he will sort of take you guys out, sort of usher you outside, but he's going with you.
There is one final thing that Cup would do during the ceremony, but it's more like a reflection than it is anything in particular. Cup is something called a Long Death Monk. That's the subclass.
Okay.
And one of the features includes the ability to extract vitality from another creature as it nears its demise. Now, obviously, this person's already dead. But what Cup is attempting to determine based on that necrosis around the neck is whether it was a death from something hurting him or a death from something draining his life. Specifically, if I can determine that it's doing the same thing that I might do.
oh, interesting.
What? let's see. You don't have Arcana.
I have nature. I don't know if that's appropriate here, though.
You know what? Just give me either intelligence or wisdom. I'll let you pick which one. Just a straight up roll.
Totally fine.
I wonder which the monk will roll.
Yes, I wonder. 18.
18.
Mhm.
Actually, neither. It seems to be something maybe akin to your draining ability, but not exactly.
So the main thing is that it doesn't look like it doesn't look like the life was drained from
Yeah.
him.
The,
Perhaps taken, but not necessarily drained. If that
um, between the 18 and the medicine check you got earlier, you do know that the necrotic damage that this guy took is not what killed him.
yeah.
At least not directly, anyway.
Right, and that's kind of yeah. Let's see if I can explain what I'm going for here. Basically, what Cup wants to know is if if it is the kind of undead they've experienced before, where life is just taken from them, or if it's something more akin to like what a vampire might do.
It is
If that
not.
makes sense.
It's not akin to a vampire. If it is an undead, which your
Might
guess
not
is
be. I understand that.
your guess is it probably is. Um, this guy died of a heart attack because of old age.
Right.
Something
Basically,
Aged him, right.
Yeah.
Which doesn't necessarily, yeah, so it's not going to be like a vampire's drain
yeah. No, it wasn't like that.
More like a
unless
system
they were
shock.
trying to become younger, right? Like that's what Cup is thinking. He's like, oh, is somebody regaining their youth from this? But it sounds like this is the only one that happened to, so that seems unlikely. Regardless, Cup's thinking about that and leaves when Delanos leaves, or maybe a little later. So.
Okay. But the father will go outside and he's wiping away tears from his eyes, and he'll go around and shake everyone's hand. He'll even kind of put an arm around Grimdak, not really hugging him, but just sort of a friendly hand on the shoulder. And then it's like, thank you. I hope Morden will help my son find rest in the afterworld.
Oh, praise be Morden.
I
His
have
divine
asked
hammer.
him for his blessings, and seems like he granted them. So,
And I hope you find out who did this, not just for my boy, but whatever's causing this on that cursed ship.
we certainly intend to try.
4 people dead in a year. You'd think some priests would look into it.
4 people?
That I know of. Maybe there's more.
We've only heard of 3 on that ship.
Well, my boy James made 4.
There was Martin, then Tom.
Good boys, both of them. James had him over for dinner a few times.
All we
Yeah.
know is of those 2 and James.
There was Matilda, though that's been several months back. You don't know about Matilda?
No.
Well, we're not exactly the church, but this would be the first we've heard of it. Did she die from similar injuries?
To Martin, yes. But hers was definitely an accident, or believe it was an accident, from what I heard. She's the wife of the merchant, the boss. She fell from the whatever that thing is called at the top of the ship. up where they climb to look for stuff.
Yes.
Crow's
The
nest.
crow's nest.
Yes, that's it. I'm not a
The
sailor.
Kenku's nest. Wait, what?
You could call it that. It's like, yeah, the Kinku's nest. Apparently, she was up there with her husband on one of their trips, and she slipped out of the crow's nest and fell to her death. But like I said, that's been some months ago, and we just thought it was an awful tragedy. But now with all these other killings lately, you have to wonder: the gods or the demons or Darzanon, somebody has cursed that ship.
Well, maybe we should purify that ship, Drazilla will say. Fire purifies quite a bit.
It also burns ships.
No ship, no ghost. No ship, no curse.
That's not how that works at all.
I mean, you can't argue with that logic.
We can.
Oh, let me rephrase that. You could argue with that logic, but people that use that type of logic, there's very little use arguing.
Oh, that's true. So, I believe we already know our course of action. We must reside on the ship.
I'd also like to speak to this guy about why he didn't mention that his wife died on the ship.
Well, I feel like that's pretty obvious. But
Do
I
you?
do think we should speak to him about it. Oh, yes. You saw how broken up he was about his son?
No, it wasn't that guy's wife. It was the owner of the ship's wife that died on the ship.
Is the owner of the ship not the man we spoke to? We being me and Dylanos?
Yeah, I'm just confused.
That's when
Let's leave this man to his business. Thank you for your time.
He'll thank you, and he'll go back inside. Oh,
Yeah.
and he'll actually give Grimdak 2 gold coins. It's like for the Church of Morden.
I'll be sure to pass it on.
And Drazilla, after he leaves, will say, talking about wives, we didn't see his wife, just had to take his word for it.
Let's talk maybe down the road a bit.
And Empty Cup will start walking down the road a bit.
Okay. Yes, he's secretly a serial killer.
Could be.
It's twins. It's always twins. No,
You have never asked his name. It could be Dexter. I don't know.
that's right. So Empty Cup will say,
I was a little concerned. The other 2 deaths were not caused by aging, based on the description of the captain of the ship. So there is a chance that James actually took the ghost with him. But it seems unlikely. I feel like the ghost might have done something before we had arrived.
Well, what if the ghost was the ghost of
I'll be right back. I'm
one
going
of
to
the
take a
people that
break
died?
to get something to drink.
very reasonable.
And you guys can do the same or keep talking, either one.
Yep.
What if the ghost was the ghost of one of the people that died earlier?
It could be the case. The fact that the captain didn't want to talk about his wife presumably is because he didn't want to believe that was part of the events occurring. But we also don't know if his wife is the instigating event, or if it was perhaps the second person to have fallen from the crow's nest, or something before even her, if that makes sense.
Yeah, if I had to bet on it, my guess would be that the ghost either belongs to the ghost probably belongs to her. The first death after her was somebody falling off the crow's nest, which was her taking life in the way that she was possibly murdered. The second death, I'm uncertain. We don't really know a lot about, and the third, well, that shows pretty obvious signs from what we know.
There is a way to perhaps determine if it was specifically her that might be causing it. I suspect this ship will have been used for this Red Guild to Illumina trip for quite some time. If we were to speak to the quartermaster and ask them if whose name the ship was under back when she was alive a few months ago, we may be able to find out if she owned the ship or he did. That would be cause for her death to be orchestrated and therefore cause for her to remain resentful.
All
Do
right,
you
first
think-
of all, may I just say that do you have another voice you can use?
Chat.
Do you have another voice you can use?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Finally.
I can copy anyone's voice, but the one I have the most words from is my mentor, which is this voice here.
Well, I don't exactly agree with that notion. And actually, I don't think the husband will tell us anything.
I don't need him
Well,
to tell us anything. My plan is walk in there. One of you asks him questions while I read his surface thoughts. If you ask him, "Did you kill your wife?" his surface thoughts are going to give him away one way or another.
But it's going to make receiving our payment of 50 gold quite difficult if we start asking him if he killed his own wife.
Well, he's under contract to pay us whether he likes it or not.
Has he already paid the UAG or not?
It doesn't matter.
Well, if he gets caught having killed his own wife, I feel like not paying his contract seems like a bit of a smaller crime. He may
Not
just
really. We would still get paid.
Can't we?
I'll tell you what, Cup. If that situation happens and he somehow manages to avoid paying us, I'll give you 50 gold.
Can't we get a priest or two to maybe do a séance
It
to
also,
contact the plane of the dead and see if that's the case or not?
Do you have any
Whose
idea
body
how-
are we going to use?
Yeah. Like, without his body, we're talking about really powerful magics to do that.
But solving the problem, isn't it worth powerful magic?
No, because we would have to pay somebody to do it, and it's going to cost us more than we would get paid.
oh, look, it's my phone. How nice. Anyway, every
My
time.
magic box,
Exactly.
my sending stone.
So it's a little afternoon at this point. What's the game plan if you have one?
Well,
Or are you
we
still discussing?
Let's
We're
go
still
back
part-
to the ship first. There's a spell I want to cast to see if it could come up with anything.
What spell
As
is
it
that?
is-
Or do you not want to?
no, go ahead.
Oh, you guys want me to tell you?
Ty said,
Well, you don't
I,
have to.
I plan on casting Detect Good and Evil.
Okay.
What do you hope to achieve with it?
Well, if the ship is in fact haunted, then it will be unconsecrated.
Right, but that spell tells you specifically when something is desecrated, and unconsecrated and desecrated are not the same thing.
Well,
And actually, whatever.
either way, I'm more hoping that it will detect whether she is, if we suspect that it is an undead creature, that it would be on the ship. And even if it's not, we can still hold the spell and go to the husband to gather more information.
Does anybody know
Or-
where ghosts go when they're not here?
The ethereal plane.
The,
I mean, I
the
know that
land of
out
the
of game.
dead.
Walmart.
Walmart. Yeah.
They're your greeters.
Exactly.
They're working at Walmart.
Is
No,
this
no.
your? All right, and I think that's. I just want this orange juice.
Oh, so there's a coupon for that? No.
I feel like I get older every time I go to Walmart.
Perfect. Emptying cup will say,
So the question I'm wondering is, we have this option Delanos mentioned. I think that one's a good one. We have this expensive option Drusilla option mentioned. I think that's good too. The question I have with you, Grimdak, is do you believe that we wouldn't be able to find out whether he was part of killing his wife without asking him? Because if we determine that information before asking him, we can be better prepared for his answer.
Oh, like, I don't. Alright, maybe I need to speak less literally. Or speak more literally, rather. I wasn't suggesting we actually walk in there and say, hey, have you murdered your wife? Like,
I
all
don't
we need
feel
to
like
Could.
that would be effective, but I think it would be funny. So why don't we do that?
no. Empty cup is like,
I believe that we can at least ask the quartermaster about what I mentioned before. First, in case he was not part of his wife's death.
Right. My point is, if I have the detect thought spell going, any mention of his wife is going to bring her to his surface thoughts, and if he killed her, that'll be enough. Like, you bring up somebody's wife when they've killed her, they're definitely going to think about killing her, even if you ask what happened to your wife. We
I
don't.
suppose he did not tell us about his wife, so the conversation would be natural.
Right.
So you've convinced me. I think that's not a bad idea.
See, playing funny. It's gonna work.
funny, yes. Funny equal good.
Let's go to the
Do you want to
ship.
start with yours? Yes. Okay. Yep.
Okay, you get back to the dock, and it's pretty much empty now. All the larger boats are definitely gone. There are, except for the one big one. The Persephonus is still tied up at the end of the dock. There's a couple of small, very small fishing boats that are still there, with some people working on them, doing network and things like that. But for the most part, this time of the day, the dock is empty. Um, you do see an older, heavy-set man with a wooden leg and a cane standing out in front of the harbor master's little building. And he might be the harbor master. Um, but he's just sort of standing there looking things over like he's got nothing better to do. Um, and you guys can do what you want.
And I'm gonna kind of turn my attention to the peg leg in front of the harbor master's place.
Hello?
Oh, I didn't realize we had his attention.
He you're walking towards him. He looks up at you.
No, I was just looking at him.
Oh, he just says hello.
Hey. Okay. Well, now I have to. So I'm gonna approach
You don't
him,
have to.
and I'm gonna say to him. So, have you heard that there's an investigation going on about the ship over there?
Oh, I didn't know it had gotten started, but I know Tersiminus talked about hiring some of those adventuring types to look into things. I guess you're them.
Yeah. Yes. Quite.
Good guess.
What do you know about the murders?
Well, I didn't know they were necessarily murders, though. Figured they probably were. I don't know. Martin fell to his death, from what I heard. So
Yes.
maybe that one was an accident. Tom got strangled, so they say. I didn't actually see the body myself. So I don't know. Maybe he got caught up in some nets or something, and that was an accident too. Or maybe he said the wrong things to somebody at a bar.
Yes, and then was killed and then dragged onto the boat.
Or maybe they hunted him down on the boat if they thought he might be there or something. As for James, I don't know. That sounds to me like some weird stuff is going on, which is why you people are here.
Indeed. Would you happen to know anything more? Perhaps another crime prior to the vehicle?
Another crime?
Well, we'll be polite and we'll say death.
Oh. Well, I don't think there was any crime, but Tersiminus' wife fell to her death a few months back. Poor thing.
Yes. That is rather tragic.
But I didn't know anything about a crime being involved.
Well, do you recall that night very well? And I'm gonna kind of like move him away from the party just in case, because I imagine the party's like a small distance away, so just in case they want to cast anything while I'm talking to him, that he'll have his back.
Okay. Yeah, he doesn't notice if they're doing anything like that. He's like, do I remember anything? Not really. I remember there was kind of I think Tersiminus and his crew had just gotten back and had unloaded the ship and were kind of celebrating. And I think there was some kind of party. Oh, it was their anniversary. That's what it was. It was their anniversary. And apparently that's why he took her up to the crow's nest so they could drink some wine or champagne or something together. Poor woman. Then she fell to her death, and I heard the screams go up. And
he was there.
Yeah. Him and some of his crew, first mate. None of them are around now. They all either, they're dead or they quit. He's going to have a hard time getting crew back on the ship. Sailors tend to be pretty
superstitious.
Yeah, they do. So too many deaths on one ship, especially this close together. He might as well just sell it off and buy a new ship.
Yes, I do hear stories that they do have their own personalities.
That's true. I could say that. Been a while since I've sailed, but
did you plan on talking to the merchant?
what do you mean?
Oh, well, we saw you standing out here. We were.
Oh no, I was just coming out to stretch my leg and just see who all's out here and what they're up to. It's the middle of the day, not a lot of work to be done right now.
All right. Well, I extend my hand to him and I say, "My name is Delanosaurus. I'm with the UAG, and we'll get to the bottom of this."
Oh, name's Tad Simon. Nice to meet you, Delanos.
Well, I best get back to it.
And I'm harbor master here, even though there's technically not a harbor.
Yes, an interesting task.
River master, you can call me that.
That does sound awfully more impressive.
That's true. Well, good luck. If you need anything, let me know.
We will. Thank you. And I'll return to the group.
He did it.
No, we don't know that.
Okay, you go back to the group.
So what you find out?
You don't need to be so loud about it. I'm kidding. It turns out Matilda and our proprietor were together in the crow's nest when she fell.
I thought we already knew that.
Well, no, we knew that she fell out of the crow's nest, but we didn't know they were together.
Did you ask the harbor master who the owner of the ship is or was?
No. And he looked to the door and he's like, "You can hear me from over there?"
It's okay. I'll ask him. It's no problem.
And I'll walk over.
To the harbor master?
A river master, evidently.
Yeah.
I'll say, why don't we? I look to Grindak. I'm like, why don't we prepare our spells beforehand so that as we engage with them, we'll have everything ready.
So,
Sure.
Empty Cup will walk up, or Emptying Cup, I should say, will walk up and say,
Excuse me. I understand you're the river master here.
Oh, yes. Hold on a second. I know why you're here. He hobbles back inside his little building, and then he hobbles back out with his wooden
When he
leg
goes
and screws.
inside, I'm going to cast Detect Evil and Good.
Okay. He's
He-
not a fiend or undead or anything.
is his leg a ghost? No, just kidding.
No.
Haunted peg
Darn it.
leg.
Ghost leg. Anyway, go What's up?
His leg is an aberration.
That's right.
It's
I can summon an aberration if you're looking for one.
His peg leg is a mimic.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It's his trained pet.
Mimic hat, mimic hook hand, mimic leg, mimic
Sure.
parrot.
Mimic eye patch.
Mimic eye patch. There you go. Anyway.
It's a mimic that looks like a parrot that sits in his shoulder. Just don't touch it. He
No, I'm
comes
here.
back-
Comes out.
When he
Yep.
comes back out, he's holding like a dry, crusty hunk of bread, and he starts crumbling it up in his hand and is throwing it down on the ground.
Okay. Yes. Good. Great. I think you're thinking of pelicans. They're assholes. But I was wondering if you had records going back of various owners of various ships that come in and out of your dock, going back maybe 2 or 3 months at least.
Well, of course we've got records like that.
All right. I was wondering if you happen to know who was the registered owner of the ship that's been cursed.
Oh, well, I know that. I don't even have to look it up. Tersiminus owns it. It's his own ship.
Did he own it a few months ago? Or is it split between him and his wife?
No, he owns it. He's had it for a few years.
Okay. And then the other question I had was, if the ship is cursed and we have to deal with it with various destructive methods, do you know where we could do that safely? Say if we need to burn it,
Well-
we don't want to burn it at your docks.
Before you burn a ship? Well, first of
Right.
all, as River Master, if you're going to do something like that, you need to get permission from the owner of the ship first.
Obviously, I'm not. Yes.
Secondly, if you are going to do something like that, yes, do not do it at the dock. Take it upriver, away from the city, at least. Preferably down the river to the ocean and burn it out at sea.
Well, as you might imagine, there's not. There is sometimes difficulty in removing curses and things, and burning the ship that can't be sold may be a solution. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that we were considering it and
Well,
what we should do if we were. Obviously,
Well,
since these are your dogs.
obviously you are a, how to put this,
Bird brain,
creature
yes.
of the air? Creature of the air. Okay. And you, to some extent, and your companions are all what we call landlubbers. I'm guessing none of you are sailors. Here's
That
the
is
problem
true.
here's a problem with burning a ship in a river. They only burn down to the water line, which means there's usually a sizable portion of the ship left, at least a third, roughly. Okay, now that's going to sink. That's all nice. And you land, people think, oh, that's no problem. It's out of the way. You can't see it. No, that causes a major problem for river traffic. Other ships could get caught on it. Just because it's underwater doesn't mean it's gone completely. And it's a river, and it's a fairly deep river in most parts, but not everywhere. So if you could take it down to the sea and do it there, that would be better.
That is very good advice. Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome.
During all that, did you guys cast your spell, or did I walk back and you guys are still?
I cast my spell. Grimdag didn't cast
I know.
fuck.
Grimdark didn't cast this spell because this guy has no reason to lie to us.
I don't know. Just,
Unless he's a ghost.
Or he's the,
oh, we're all ghosts.
or he's the killer. His
That's
leg
right.
could be the killer.
Thank you.
His eye patch could be the killer.
That's right.
He doesn't have an eye patch, just a peg leg and a crutch. This time.
This time. Next time.
Does he want an eye patch?
Yeah, well, honestly.
Are you trying to sell him one?
No, but if he wants one, I'll go and get him one.
Oh,
Encourage him violently.
What do you think about parrots, sir? How do you? Is that your favorite animal?
Let's
they
go
taste
and
good.
talk to the owner.
Well, detect good and evil and good last for 10 minutes. So yeah, we better get in there.
Yeah. So empty cup will definitely follow you guys, but we'll mention as you're going.
I can't think of any reason why he would intentionally kill his wife. So I am somewhat concerned this will be a dead end. So be careful, but I don't mind if somebody else wants to take over that particular conversation.
I'm not convinced that he killed his wife, but that doesn't mean the ghost isn't of his wife.
Of course.
Drozilla will follow them on in, and she will kind of go in and pause for a moment, take her hood down since she's inside, shake her hair a little bit, and say, "Where is the owner?"
he's still in his office behind his desk.
Yeah, but Drozilla never met him, so.
Oh,
He's it's that fellow right over there.
he's not doing paperwork now. He's eating lunch.
She'll walk on over to him. And
Oh no, not again.
He stops eating and puts down his fish sandwich and stands behind his desk. Yes, ma'am?
yes, I have a message for you from. Hold on here a second. I got it.
While Charlie's looking this up, Grimdark will go ahead and cast Detect Thoughts again, expending sorcery points so as not to give any indication he's casting a spell.
Okay. How big an area does that reach out?
I have to choose a creature within 30 feet.
Ah, okay. He seems to be confused more than anything
That's fine.
at the moment.
And he's not an aberration celestial elemental.
He is none of those things, and there is no ground that's magically consecrated or desecrated within 30 feet of you.
And she'll say, I've come from just up from the square of the temple gods and talking to Mistra, and she told me to come see you and deliver this message. And
He's more confused, but maybe a little hopeful also. But okay, sure.
she's and the message is, why'd you kill your wife?
Hey!
He immediately looks shocked as all get out, and with detect thoughts, Grimdak, you immediately get a thought of he killed his wife, and which is immediately followed by a whole bunch of guilt. Not fear so much, but guilt. Just really strong guilt.
Man, playing funny is always good.
And he kind of backs away from Drusilla, and he's like, Mistra told you I killed my wife?
Of course she did. She protects females, not just magics.
His eyes kind of tear up. He's like, it was an accident. We were celebrating. I turned around and bumped into her, and she went over the side of the crow's nest.
Drusilla will kind of look at him, stare him down, and she wants to see if
he kind of he falls back in his office chair and kind of puts his face in his hands, and he's just crying now. He's like, I should have killed myself. I should have killed myself.
The cup will do what Drusilla is doing, which is an insight almost certainly.
Yeah.
What I want to know specifically is, does he think that Does he think that it was only a little bump? Or does he not remember? That's the distinction, I guess. Does he remember whether it was a little bump or not?
Are you asking him?
No. Insight check. I'm trying to determine if he believes it was a little bump or not.
Yeah, give me an insight check.
24.
A little bump. He believes it was an accidental bump, for sure.
Yeah, the accident I agree. I assume to be true. What I want to know is if he thought he accidentally really tipped her over, or
No, it doesn't seem to be.
okay.
And
She was someone not familiar with climbing on a ship and up in the crow's nest, and probably shouldn't have been up there in the first place.
Sure, of course.
Drizzle is looking to see if he was lying about the event at all.
He doesn't seem to be lying, and even Grimdak with detect thoughts. This guy's not lying, but he is so overcome with grief.
But she rolled a 6 for an insight.
He's totally lying. He's a murderer. He killed everybody.
Yeah.
In fact, he's going to kill you guys next.
And she'll after that, she'll step back in a defensive position.
He
and
is an
say,
aberration on consecrated ground.
He's planning to do us evil.
Looks
I
up. What?
highly doubt that, milady.
He's really not. I can see into his head. Like,
That's not my feeling.
Well, I don't know
can
how
you
to
read
tell
his
you.
thoughts?
I read his body language.
The guy lying on the ground weeping, and from that you get, "I'm gonna murder these four."
Yeah. He's taking a
Uh,
deceptive move to do his leap to
You
strike.
haven't been around humans much, have you?
Well, enough to know that they're treacherous.
Sounds like somebody doesn't have much faith.
Okay. This guy killed his wife, but it was an accident. Whether he should be arrested or not, I neither know nor particularly care.
He looks up. He's like, just kill me now.
Nobody's
Okay.
killing you. Sit down.
No.
Drusilla, stop it. Just sit there quietly while we try and decide what to do.
I think the solution is obvious.
Take him to the ship and sacrifice him to his wife's ghost.
Well, I mean, that's one way, but the most redeemable way is for him to confess his sins to her.
I mean, it was an accident. I don't.
Yes, but she might not see it that way.
Maybe. I think it's
And
fairly.
Guilt-ridden. If, at the very worst case scenario, she will kill him and be satisfied with his death. And she'll move on her own. And he will be damned. But best case scenario, she believes him. And she'll be able to let go passively.
Alright, just to be clear, I was joking about sacrificing him to his wife, and I don't think we should let the undead kill this guy even though he accidentally killed his wife. That's point one.
Well, I don't plan on letting her do it. I mean,
Burn
the
the
living is
ship.
the living. We're not burning the ship.
Why don't we just go and kill the ghost?
Because if she dies in the state that she's in now, she will be destroyed forever.
She's killed 3 people.
Yes. But wouldn't you if you were killed by your lover?
No.
I don't believe that.
Oh, my husband accidentally killed me. Let me go and murder 3 random people that have got nothing to do with it.
She's attacking his business.
She's killing innocent people.
Yes. Because she's not making sense. She's grieving.
Are you all just having this conversation in front of this guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cup was the wise one with his +4 wisdom, with her +4 wisdom, and left. I'm not these murder hobos. I'm not here with these murder hobos. I don't know them.
In our defense, he actually did kill his wife, so accusing him of killing his wife is, like, perfectly justified.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Listen, you're trying to convince me out of game or in game because the answer is completely different depending on what you're trying to do.
Drusilla will then go ahead and kind of throw her chest and bosom out, throw her hair back, and start stomping out the room and saying, Mistra will strike you someday to give justice. And she'll head on out.
As she leaves, Grimdark looks at Delamos and just says, she really is a drama queen.
Yes, as most servants of Mistra are.
Tersiminus has stopped crying at this point, and he kind of looks up. His face is still red, and his eyes are wet, but he's not crying. And he's like, so you people think the ghost of my wife is the one who's killing these people on the ship?
Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
sense. My
probably.
guess would be, given the nature of the three deaths, the first person was thrown from the crow's nest, replicating the way that your wife died. The second person was strangled, as was the third person. Ghosts have the ability to age people, but only people that aren't of sound body or something like that can't resist the effects. My guess is number 2 resisted and number 3 didn't. But it's alright. I'm going to find your wife's ghost and purge her from this world.
Well, before you do that, do you have evidence of this? I mean, I don't want something bad to happen to my wife's soul.
Evidence of what? If your wife's ghost is there, then yes, I have evidence your wife's ghost is there. If your wife's ghost isn't there, then why do you care? It's somebody else's ghost.
Well, I just don't want. I don't want my poor wife to be damned for what I did.
Yeah, well, shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Look, Grimdack, she still has a chance.
Person A, let me provide a gentle ceremony for your child. Person B, who cares about your wife?
Listen,
That
why don't
cares. He just stopped caring after she killed the third person. 2 would have been fine. 3 makes her a serial killer.
That's right. On the third one is no longer a mistake.
why don't you come with us onto your ship? It's during the day, so the odds of her being about is rare. I will cast a spell to see if she's still present on the ship. And perhaps there is some way to earn her forgiveness.
I suppose if you want me to go to the ship,
I know it sounds dangerous and reckless, but this is the best way to get her to pass on her own. But we will take precautions to protect you as well.
Very well. I guess I. What's the worst that can happen? She kills me. And
The worst that could happen, technically, is she turns you into a ghost and then I destroy both of your immortal souls.
What kind of priest are you?
The smiting kind.
Number A doesn't like undead, and B doesn't like serial killers.
I'm not a serial killer.
You're
All
an
right, we'll
accessory.
smite your wife's soul, and we'll wait to see if you decide to start killing people.
Yeah, you.
Come check up in the weeks.
I know the 4 I'd start with.
Exactly. Exactly.
Welcome to try.
That's right.
I'm going to become an adventurer myself, and when I get levels, I'm coming after you guys.
That's right. Exactly.
Oh, so why don't you come with us, and we'll try to settle things with her.
Okay, he looks kind of downtrodden, but he'll come with you. He's going to lock up his office afterwards. Not that it matters. I don't have any money anymore, so. Oh, well. Let's go. He'll start heading towards the boat at the end of the dock.
Cup, who is kind of waiting outside for people to return and not attract attention, now has to follow the group behind this guy. But still doesn't want to be associated with them, so it's like a good 6 feet distance from the closest person.
There's not that many people around, and they're not really paying attention on the docks, and they're not really paying attention to you guys for the most part.
Sure. Fair enough.
It's been longer than 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, it probably has been between talking and everything.
Okay.
And between talking and crying and threatening and all that good stuff. He'll go down to the ship, and there's a gangplank there, and he'll walk it over onto the boat. It's basically a small galley with 2 masts.
Yeah, I'll follow him, and I will have to recast Detect Evil and Good.
On board the ship, I take it. Well, it lasts
Yeah.
for 10 minutes. Oh, yeah, it's definitely pinging. There is an undead pretty much beneath your feet, probably 15 to 20 feet down.
She's here.
Great. Let's gear up, he says, drawing a warhammer.
I said there was an undead. I didn't say it was her.
Well,
Yeah.
so there's an undead presence that I believe is her, but
I mean,
actually,
there
I
could
don't
there
know
be
if
a
it-
lich hidden away somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why I drew my warhammer, just in case.
just in case.
It could be one of the party.
That's right. Emptying cup was.
Help, scribe returns.
Ah!
All right. So
And he just stands there on the deck, is kind of looking around, looking very forlorn.
Well, there's an undead spirit in the basement. I am willing to cast a protection spell on you.
And Drusilla, you guys don't see Drusilla anymore.
Does the man want my protection, or
I suppose, though I don't deserve it.
okay? Well, I'm gonna drop the spell, detect evil and good. I'm gonna cast protection from evil and good on him,
Okay.
and I'll lead him to where I last felt the presence.
It's below decks.
Yeah.
You go down there. It's very dark. There are no lights unless you're going to make some.
I can cast light on my staff.
Okay. And it takes you to a storage room that is currently empty. Other than you two, you see you and the guy and anybody else that's going with you.
a cup will go with.
Okay.
Yeah. Grimdeck will head down as well.
And yeah, he goes with you. Nothing seems to happen when you get down there. Yeah.
The presence was further below, or is this the bottom?
Oh no, it's right around you.
Okay.
You're pinging really big.
Well, I don't have detect evil on, but yeah.
Oh, well, you did earlier. No, you're where you felt it. You're probably at the water line or maybe even a little below it at this point.
Matilda, are you here?
At first, nothing happens, but then you hear very faintly, not faint enough you got to make a perception roll for, but you hear very faintly a screaming sound that kind of sounds like it's far away.
I asked him if he heard that.
He nods, and he's not making any sound, but his eyes are, he's crying again.
And I'll cast light on him so he has his own light.
Okay.
And I say, Matilda, is the source of your anger here?
The screaming stops, and then you hear a voice say, "Yes." And that's it. That's all it says.
Matilda, did you kill the people on the ship? James, Martin, and Tom.
I killed 3. And I'm about to kill more.
And I say, this is your only chance before she will react. Remember, try to get her attention by speaking her name first.
You're talking to Persimmons at this point.
Yeah.
He's
I put my hand on him and I say, you are protected by my magic.
he stops crying, sort of shakes his head, and he's like, I think it would be best if you just leave me alone with her, and we could finish this for good.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Don't worry about us being here. Once you get started, you'll probably feel like you're absorbed into the conversation. If you want to risk it, I can drop the protection spell and you'll form a stronger connection with her. But you won't be protected by the magic. Is that what you want?
Yes. Go ahead and drop your magic.
All right. I'll drop the protection from spirit, from evil and good.
Okay.
Though I will cast enhance ability on him, and basically I'm casting Eagle Splendor on him.
Okay.
But the roleplay reason why I'm wanting to do that is because I want him to deepen his connection to his personality and his ego. Because if he truly feels guilty, it'll draw that out more.
Eagle Splendor raises what? Wisdom?
Charisma.
Ah, okay. Okay, you cast a spell on him, and he kind of shudders a little bit, shakes. And he's no longer crying at all. And he just looks over at you. Too little too late. That's what he says.
Shit.
Oh, great.
He rolled a 3 in his charisma check. Come on.
Yeah.
Or his charisma save.
It might mean nothing to you, but he did that on purpose.
He'll say, all of you can leave now.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
You know you've lost, right? By possessing him?
How have I lost?
Because when he dies, his soul will be free to go to the afterlife. But once we kill him, we're going to destroy you, and you'll have gained nothing. Your revenge will be bypassed completely.
What makes you think I care about what happens to me?
Because if you weren't so angry about the death, you wouldn't care about trying to kill him.
As long as he's punished, I don't care.
Oh, I already called for the guards. Like, he's gonna be punished.
Not that kind of punishment.
Yeah, I figured you'd say that. Hey, Barnes, how long do you plan on talking to her before you admit that this is useless and we kick this off?
That's okay. I figured I'd give her a chance. And I'm gonna cast Protection from Evil and Good on him again. And he gets to make the save at advantage.
Okay.
Assuming he gets to make the save.
The spell forces it straight away.
But you also have to touch him.
Yeah, I'm going to do it
Okay, give me a to hit roll.
using my spellcasting modifier.
Sure, I'll let you do that.
That'll be 13.
Yeah, she tries to slip away from you, and you almost miss it. Or she and he, but you actually do touch him. So, okay, with that, you hear a howling, screaming sound, and suddenly he grabs at his chest and gasps and kind of backs away from you guys. And you hear a female screaming sound throughout the room.
And I'll tell him to go. And
He runs out of the room.
Grimdack at this point pulls out this platinum vial and speaks a command in Dwarvish and summons an aberrant spirit.
It summoned itself. It's manifested as this creature. I attack it.
Okay.
You leave my beholderkin alone.
No, I don't do that.
Yep, Grimdack summons a small little beholder-like creature about 10 feet behind him.
Okay.
we still can't see him. See her, right?
You cannot. She is screaming or more howling. And the sound is leaving the room and going upward.
Yeah, Emptying Cup was going to follow the guy, by the way. I wasn't sure if we're going to start initiative or not, but Emptying Cup never leaves him.
The spirit is not attacking anyone, at least as of yet. He runs up onto the deck and then runs off across the plank off the ship onto the dock. And then he'll kind of stop and look back.
And Cup is behind him.
Okay. He looks really, really frightened at this point. And you can even hear the howling and screaming sound from outside.
Yep.
Well, Grimdack, I think it's time, and it's time that you do your business. I'll be right behind you.
Okay.
What is Grimdack doing?
Well, not a huge amount because I can't see her.
Well, I
But we can
can't.
hear her, which means she's here, which means she's invisible. How big is the room that we're in?
Probably 30 by maybe 20.
So do I think if I had a 30 by 20, if I had a 20-foot square, she's not on the ground. Never mind.
I mean, we could go upstairs. You're thinking about fairy fire?
No, I can't cast fairy fire.
I can.
Oh, then by all means, go ahead and cast it.
Well, I think she's upstairs, so I'm going to go up there, and I'm going. Is she still screaming up there?
She is screaming above deck or on deck.
Yeah, then I'll. And the deck has the same, well, roughly the same area.
Yeah, give or take. The main
Then
thing.
I'll just blanket the area with fairy fire.
Grimdeck will follow him, and the Beholderkin will follow Grimdeck.
My spell slots.
Yeah, you use a lot, that's for sure.
Okay, is she going to make her save or not? That's
Preferably
not.
not.
She does not make her save. So you see a glowing outline of a glowing female figure.
Oh,
All right.
As soon as we can see that, the Beholderkin attacks it.
Wild shape direwolf time. Ah.
You know what? I'm going to let's roll for initiative then. Well, actually, I'm going to let you guys have a surprise round. You get to attack first because maybe she wasn't going to attack you or anybody else.
Yeah, right.
I know her initiative sucks.
I mean, Grimdeck's wasn't great either.
But was it a crit fail?
The monk was not ready.
What did Grimdack get?
Oh my god. Grimdeck's got 7. And I think he's one of the highest in the party.
I got 7 too.
Oh my
What is-
god.
And Drozilla got 7.
Oh my god! What's Druzilla's dexterity?
18.
Oh yeah, she's going before me for sure.
And
Wait,
what is-
Druzilla's dexterity is 18 with a +5?
Did you mean to roll with +4, Charlie?
No,
plus
she's a
5.
Gloomstalker with +1 wisdom.
Gloomstalk.
Gloomstalker, that's okay. That's okay.
What is Grimdack's
Oh,
dexterity?
+2.
16, yeah.
Plus
Or
2.
sorry, 14. Blah.
And what did Cup get?
3.
Okay.
That was so bad.
Yeah.
She rolled so badly, all of you still get to go before her.
Yes.
She got
Oh,
a 2. So
yeah.
Alright,
I-
apparently nobody really wants this fight.
Drusilla, you get to go first.
All right. She will launch 3 arrows. And let's see here. Let me make sure of a modifier for it.
Yeah, and you have advantage, buddy.
Or I'm guessing
Yeah.
they're magical arrows.
Yes,
Okay.
because it's offer pack weapon, and she has improved pack.
Okay.
Let's see here. That's normally a +10, so that's
I just realized how much improved pack weapon is a Charles invocation.
It's a Charles exclusive.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like if I were to make an invocation for a warlock for Charles, it'd be exactly that invocation.
That's a hood classic.
Exactly.
all right. That'd be for the first one, I believe that's a 21.
That'll
The second one, a 21.
That'll hit.
And the third one will be 18 plus, 17 plus the 11. So
That's gonna
it's
hit.
at least,
28.
all right.
That
Yeah.
one misses.
Perfect. Shield.
All right.
You hit her
and
3
then-
times.
Yeah. And what I want is those are D8s, and that will be a +5. Oh, wrong way. Oh, I forgot one extra D8.
Damage?
Yeah. One more for that because this is the first round of combat.
Oh, yeah. You're a Gloomstalker.
So That will be 29 points of damage.
Okay. She howls a lot louder than before.
And all magical.
Anything else? A bonus action or anything?
Well, with that, I become visible. And if it's dark out there,
It's not. It's still daytime.
oh, still daytime?
Yeah.
Okay.
Boo!
I will. How
You could
far?
have gone at night.
Yeah,
How
that would've been way
far-
more thematic. What are we?
How far away is the mast that has the crow's nest?
Oh, probably not far, like 10 feet. It's not
Okay.
that big a ship.
And how tall? How much distance to get to the crow's nest?
20 feet up.
Okay. Then what Drusilla will do is you'll see her definitely climb all the way up into the crow's nest.
Okay.
Using her 35-foot climb speed.
You know
Okay.
she's gonna kill you like she died, right?
She's gonna try. Like I'm assuming that was bait. Like,
Well,
But that's
maybe
all.
it-
That's all that Drusilla is doing.
Okay. I believe Delanos is next.
I'm gonna run up and bite it.
Is this a magical attack?
The transformation is magical. The attack is not.
Okay.
That'll be a total of 21 to hit.
You hit. It's like biting through air.
13 points of piercing damage. And I think ghosts are immune to being knocked prone, so don't bother with the strength save.
Okay. Yeah.
Bonus action, I can't do fuck all. That'd be my turn.
Okay. Now it's Grimdack's turn.
Grimdack is staring in just shock that Delanos has decided to just try and bite this thing with his wolf teeth. But he'll snap out of that, and he's going to upcast a guiding bolt at her.
No! Rolled a hit.
You have advantage, buddy.
I sure do.
What kind of damage does Guiding Bolt do?
Radiant. 22 to hit.
That hits.
And this is...
And suddenly my ghost is immune to radiant damage.
That's fine.
perfect.
17 points of radiant.
17 points of radiant. You hit her. There is a flash of light. Then you hear the screaming no more, and the fairy fire spell is dead too.
Grimdack says, well, that was easier than I thought it was going to be.
Bark.
And about that time, there are half a dozen city guards with swords drawn, running down the dock towards your all's direction. And Tersiminus starts crying again, and he screams out, You killed her!
No, you killed her.
Ooh.
Too soon.
Drusilla will go ahead and hide in the crow's nest.
Give me a stealth roll.
All right. Yeah, after all that, it's like, hell, I'm not going to jail for nobody.
I don't think you get arrested for killing dead things.
And with that perception roll, the guards not only do not see you, they don't see the boat and almost march off the end of the dock.
Damn.
But they come to a stop, and then
Grimdack
one
will move.
looks over
That's
at the ship, And he's like,
16.
who are we arresting?
Grimdack will make his way off and say,
And Tersiminus, before you can say anything further, Tersiminus points at you guys and goes, them! They murdered my wife!
oh, for the love of God, be quiet.
I told you he was evil.
You were sent by the guild. He says, holding up his UAG badge.
Yes, we received a message from them that someone was being arrested here for murder.
Then they told you wrong. What I told them to do was send guards because we found someone guilty of manslaughter. This one,
Manslaughter?
he accidentally killed his wife by pushing her off the top of the mast. The crow's nest up there, he says, pointing to the crow's nest.
He takes his helmet off and scratches his head. He's like, that's against the law?
What, killing someone?
Well, accidentally killing someone.
The big direwolf not wanting to jump into action is kind of like trying to sneak over, so he's testing the plank to see if he can cross it.
He can cross the plank.
Whew. Then he'll just kind of like trot over.
You're telling me that killing somebody accidentally isn't illegal in this place?
I guess it depends on how it happens. Okay. Who are we taking?
Him. Grimdack says, pointing at Priscilla.
Okay, well, you're with the guild, so I guess you're okay and we'll know where to find you.
Yeah, my name's Grimdack. You can either find me at the guild or at Moradin's temple.
A couple of them come forward and grab Tersiminus, and it's like, okay, we're going to have to take you back and take you before a judge and figure all this out. So he accidentally murdered his wife?
Yeah, and when he says we killed his wife, what he means is the ghost that formed when he killed his wife and has killed 3 people since then, we killed that.
Yeah, we heard about all that. You killed a ghost.
Yes. Clerics can do this thing with radiant magic that ghosts apparently find distasteful.
He's just staring at you like everything you just said totally went over his head.
A couple say, I will speak. I can assist you with, as a more or less third party witness to this.
If you're looking for someone to help with your investigation on the claims.
Well, sure, you can come help question him. Question, though, speaking of breaking the law, do you guys have a license for that big dog of yours?
Oh, that's not a dog. I mean, currently it's a dog.
I mean, I don't see a collar on him.
I don't own any dogs, that one or otherwise.
All pets in the city are supposed to be on a leash, too.
Yes, as I said, it's not a dog, it's a druid. Pretending to be a dog. With magic.
Well, it looks like a dog to me, a really big dog, and you
Hey,
also...
Pack that up.
You're also supposed to have little baggies to pick up after it. And I'm sure a dog that
you know
big...
what? You know what? I've changed my mind. I have no idea where that came from. You should probably kill it. It looks like a wild animal to me.
Grimdack's still in the boat, right?
No, he made his way down.
Oh.
Squeak.
I don't know if we should kill it.
I mean, it's very clearly a wild animal. Like, it's a dialogue.
I give the guard the puppy eyes.
This giant fucking like bear-sized dog, just like
Give me a persuasion roll or a deception. I'll let you pull either
me
one.
or Delanos?
Delanos.
The puppy eyes. Which one do I have? I have neither, so I just have this one. Eight. I'm still a terrifying dire wolf.
Okay. He points to Grimdack. Well, I guess Drusilla's not invisible anymore. So,
No,
But
she's up
she's
in the crow's
she's
nest.
still hiding in the.
oh yeah, she's
crow's
up.
nest.
She's hiding. So he'll point the cup and the Grimdack, and he's like, "Okay, you two, stay here. Watch the dog. We're going to take this one to jail for later questioning, and then we'll send animal control up here to get this dog, this wild dog." Okay,
Sure.
Works for me.
come on,
I'm
guys.
fine with that.
And Tersiminus, they have to drag Tersiminus away because he starts screaming, "They murdered my wife! They murdered my wife! I can't believe you're letting them get away with this!" And they just drag him off. And he's like, "I'll have my revenge."
Oh, another one against there.
Told you we should
The
have killed him while we
UAG.
had the chance.
The UAG has so many people looking for
And-
revenge.
And before he gets taken off the dock, he's like, "And guess what? I'm starting now. You're not getting paid." And
I'm
he's-
gonna run over to him.
Oh no, come back.
the guards will actually kind of stand around him and be like, "This wild dog doesn't need to attack this guy. He might be innocent. Maybe."
I'm just gonna push him down to the ground so I can pee on him.
Are you going to push your way through the guards to do this?
Yeah.
I guess roll to shove the guards out of the way. A shoving roll.
I really need to do this. I don't have athletics, but that's still 22.
Yeah, you shove two guards out of the way.
Oh yeah, I'm totally gonna try and pee on this guy. I'm gonna push him over with my paw and I'm gonna pee on him.
Give me a shove attack against him.
Yes. Please. Not 20.
He rolled nat 1, so he goes down. Now
He's just in shock.
Now give me an attack roll.
Yes. 18. Oh no, that's an 18. 20.
Okay, you pee on him really, really, really well, like even in the face. But guards start taking their swords out. We're being attacked by this wild dog.
I told you to kill it.
Well, now we're going to.
Oh, man.
6 guards all taking out their long swords, and they've forgotten about Tersiminus.
Well, Grimback hasn't.
Now,
Grimback's kind
how'd
of,
they forget about this guy? I'm still peeing on him. Am I done peeing on him?
Sure.
Grimback's slowly
Okay.
walking towards them.
So do we need to go into initiative again with city guards?
No. For my next trick, I will become a man.
You're under arrest for defilement of property.
And assault.
Man with his wanker in his hand.
Battery, maybe. Assault.
GBH?
like
Public urination.
That's right. There you go.
That wasn't me. That was a wolf.
No, we saw you changed into a wolf, and somebody said you were a druid.
What? Do you see my armor? Do I look
Public-
like I'm a druid?
Public urination. It's a 2 gold fine. Pay it now or come with us to jail.
Oh, only 2 gold?
Yes,
What's
you
on
can.
my
pay-
record?
Unfortunately, my client here doesn't have 2 gold because that man there is refusing to pay him.
Oh, I have 2 gold. This is totally worth pissing on somebody for like a minute straight.
You are not.
Yeah, but this guy didn't force your client to pee on him.
Great.
Yeah.
Who do we talk to about breach of contract? Because he signed a contract with the UAG, so that means he's in breach of contract with the UAG, right?
You talked to the UAG's attorney?
Great. Grimback will look down at Persimmon and say, you really want to get into a legal fight with the UAG over 200 gold pieces? Don't you have enough problems on your hands right now?
Besides the bad taste.
Give me either persuasion or intimidation, whichever one you want to do. Good Lord, I'm rolling garbage tonight.
I mean, with my +9, I have an 11.
Oh, gosh. You still beat him. Uh, he's like, okay, I've already paid the money anyway. So it's yours, but this isn't the last you've heard of me. I'll be back.
If we can kill a ghost, what makes you think we're scared of you?
Oh, you don't have to be scared of me. Being scared wouldn't help you. I've got other ways.
Yes. You could hire us. Oh, wait, you're broke.
I can sell my ship and get money.
You heard him. He's gonna sell his shit.
So the guards are going to take him away. What do you guys want to do? Go back and get paid, or
Yeah,
Grimdak, you're a
Compass-
very terrible owner. You could have paid that 2 gold fine for me.
they
I-
actually forgot all about it in the talk about lawsuits and everything.
I think you'll
Drizella
find
is going-
I think you'll find I distracted them long enough that you didn't have to pay the fine at all. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
That's pretty much what happened.
Drizella's doing what she put in the chat.
Give me a forgery roll.
Ah, I wish she'd said something, then I'd give her advantage.
I'd have asked guidance as well.
Well, okay.
Well, I didn't.
25.
We don't know that he's.
Well, the more unfortunate thing here is that Drusilla's waiting for they, as in all of us, to leave because that's what her intent was when she first posted
okay,
it. But
25 in the forgery roll, but go back and give me an investigation roll to see if you can find the paperwork first.
Okay.
Well, you know,
Investigation. Well, let's see here. What's my investigation? Not too great, but not bad.
now, Grimdak, I know you probably guessed that was very silly of me to do to try to get the ghost to redeem itself,
Hey,
and you're right. But if you haven't noticed, I am serving Elastrati.
Okay, Drusilla, there's good news and there's bad news.
yep.
The bad news is you cannot find the ownership papers for the Persephonus, but you're good enough at forging, and there's enough paperwork here that you know what such paperwork would look like, and you can make one.
All right, that works.
You can make a fake one, though even though you haven't found the real deal.
Yep.
The fake one looks better than the real one.
maybe.
Now
That's what tipped them off. It was too
what-
good.
I don't know what date you're going to put on these papers.
I'll put the day before today.
Okay.
For when it's being sold or when the title of the ship was owned.
When I purchased it.
You're making a bill of sale out to yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Show that okay, you make a bill of sale plus you need like a title basically. Yeah, with that good of a forgery roll, you can do all that.
And then I'll roll. I'll
So-
roll that up and put it in my. Let's see here. What's she got?
Are you going to show this to
I will
anyone,
say-
like the Rivermaster at least, or someone?
Yes, to definitely to the River Master, but she's going to put it in her. I'm looking to see if it's going to be her pouch or backpack, and yeah, her pouch. I wanted to make sure she had one.
Okay. The Rivermaster will look over the paperwork, and he's like, seems awful quick, but okay, well, I guess she's
She'll
your ship, but if you
she'll
want to leave
ask
her here, go ahead.
she'll ask them, "Do you know some good folks that can change the name on my ship?"
Yeah, I
And
can get somebody to paint it for you.
okay, just name it the Durden,
He'll ask
and
how that's spelled, and I
and
guess you'll tell him.
Dour, the and she'll say, "How much is the
Dock
dockage?"
fees, 10 gold a month,
10 gold a month. She'll pull out 10 gold.
plus another 5 gold for the painting.
All right, 15 gold. She won't quibble over that, so that's gonna knock that down. 10, that'll leave me 10 gold and gold. But at least I got platinum and some other things.
So
And
I'm not sure how much this influences what ends up happening, but an emptying cup does follow the guards as agreed, since there's no longer a dog to watch,
Okay.
and attempts to give them a holistic story. So if you want to run that, we can, or I don't know how you want to do that.
No, we don't have to run the whole thing, especially considering the time. Um, but give me a persuasion roll and uh, give me a persuasion roll, but instead of charisma, use your wisdom
Okay.
since you're doing a holistic approach.
15.
Okay, that's actually not that bad. After talking and questioning with you for a while, they still seem a little unsure of everything, but they're going to hold this guy in jail at least for the time being until they can get him in front of a judge. And the judges are booked up for at least another month. So he's going to be sitting in jail for at least a month.
Okay. Yeah. Out of curiosity, or perhaps you can just say, I don't know, somebody else answer that question if you want. But does Emptying Cup learn whether sentient undead have rights in the city? Does Emptying Cup learn whether there's a time limit before a crime can't be reported? And does Emptying Cup learn whether there was something else?
Are you asking if there's a statute of limitations on manslaughter?
Yep.
pretty much.
Because they might just not keep records too far back. Paper and ink can get expensive, especially if
Well,
there's
I'll answer that one first. As far as a statute of limitations, it depends on who you talk to. There's not really like hardcore laws like this is 7 years and this is 4 years and this is 8 years or whatever. It kind of depends on what guards you're dealing with, what judge you're in front of.
Sure.
I mean, if you bring up like, oh, you bring in some guy and say, hey, he murdered somebody 15 years ago, unless you've got some really darn good evidence, more than likely they're going to walk.
Yeah.
As far as undead or intelligent undead having legal rights, no, not. There's no code or law that says they have legal rights, but there's probably not really a code or law that says, I don't know, Kenku have legal rights
Right.
in the city. I mean, for instance, a vampire could pass himself off, especially a wealthy one, could easily pass themselves off as immortal and no one would care. But yeah, if ghouls and ghasts are walking the streets, people are going to want them. Well, they're not really that intelligent.
Right.
But generally, if somebody's identified as a with some evidence or seeming evidence, someone's identified as an undead, probably they're just going to be hunted down and killed, more than likely, unless they go into hiding or something like that.
It goes under like the witch laws, where it's like, yeah, but they're consorting with demons, so whatever.
Yeah,
The church.
yeah. As long as you're not causing a big trouble in town, and as long as you're not ticking off the churches, you're probably okay. But when the bodies start piling up, eventually somebody's going to notice.
Yeah. Because of course, in the process of this, Cup is attempting to figure out if we're actually liable legally, right? Like,
For the ghost,
right?
Oh no.
Well, presumably not, but what Cup is looking for is confirmation of that, right?
Oh,
I want to help them with this investigation. Here's what actually happened. What laws did we break? What laws did he break?
As far as the guards at least are concerned, you didn't break any laws.
Okay, well, except having a pet off leash or whatever.
They're not worried about that. That was 10 minutes ago when they were just trying to give you trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Because your dog was knocked down, 2 of them.
Anyway, but yeah.
Which did make the 2 mad, but if somebody buys them a drink at a tavern, at some point they'll be okay with it, probably.
I'll give them a gold piece each for the...
Hey, at least I didn't piss on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give them a gold piece each for the fine. There you go.
Have a mastiff knock down 2 cops and see what happens.
I'll tell you what happens. They shoot them.
Yeah.
Not in the civilized world where our police don't carry guns, they don't.
Oh, so sad. Wait. Yeah, I mean, yay, wait. I guess I was more sad that I didn't live in the civilized world than over here in our barbaric United States. But,
Well,
all right.
Well,
Cool,
today
cool.
a guy in Norway killed like 5 people with a bow. I was like, good Lord.
A good shot, that's what I would say, but
Yeah.
also, ooh,
I guess he snapped. I don't know.
probably.
Okay. You guys get back to the guild hall. You will get 30 more gold each because he had paid in advance, so they already had the money.
Somebody mentioned something about hazard pay, and we thought a ghost.
That was not paid in advance.
Right.
So, unfortunately, unless you're able to talk Terciminus into paying you hazard pay, you're not going to
I
get
feel like
hazard
that's
pay.
what we're getting paid for.
Yeah.
Well,
And I suppose each of you gets 2 experience points tonight.
Yay. XP.
All right.
And there actually were ways to defeat the ghost without fighting it, but those didn't come up, or we didn't go into them.
I want to know. Fair enough.
I mean, I'm sure there were, but why would you do that when you've got radiant damage?
Well, yeah, and considering your all's levels and the damage you can do, a ghost is not really that major of a threat.
yeah, it's more like well, and there was 2 clerics too, right? So it's like their whole shtick is, I see a ghost, that's not good. Time for smiting or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Falderkin didn't even get to shoot the damn thing.
I'm sorry.
So good.
Oh, yeah, Drusilla's 3 arrow shots basically tuck it down to less than half its hit points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. So basically, that is the end of the night's adventure. But if you guys or your characters are wanting to go do something, we can try to go through that quickly.
Well, I was explaining myself to Grimdak.
Sure. I have a game starting in 5 minutes, so
Okay, we can go.
Never mind then.
Oh well,
No,
you guys could.
you're good.
You could,
I've
you could
got
talk
5
it
minutes.
over. You could talk it over in Discord if you want to.
Also good. Yeah.
So basically, Delmos was saying that he agreed with your original interpretation that we should have just killed her in the first place. But he needed to do that so to at least give a fair shot, because he is a servant of Elistrati, who is the drow goddess of redemption and moonlight.
Hmm.
And it would have been wrong for him to, well, do what had happened if he didn't give either of them a chance.
Fair enough. Hmm.
And Grimdak secretly thinks, "Man, I'm glad I worship Warden, who doesn't ask for these weird
Grimdark's
questions."
thinking is largely like the only way that was going to end was, yeah, more or less. I'm glad I worship Moradin. Like, there is a time for redemption, and it's not when somebody's going to die.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's not really up for us to decide. The fates can be funny, and they can be fickle.
Around that time, Drizella would come bebopping on in and ask, "Hey, does anybody know where I can get a good stout crew? I just bought a boat."
Ah!
You bought a boat from who?
Oh, there was a fella down at the wharf selling.
Wait,
Do you have enough money to buy a boat?
Oh yeah, I had enough money for that. It is amazing what
is
hard
this the
times
same day?
will drop.
Yeah.
What time is it?
Probably that night by now.
Don't you have a date?
If I showed up, I might be
I
able
mean,
to talk.
he's a strong, muscular crewmate.
You might be right, and but Drizella turns and say, "I need to find a crew and put her to work. She costs too much to have in dockage."
Well, I mean, if anyone knows a crew ready to work, it would be that Torque fellow.
I'll have to hunt him up. She'll say.
He's going to be at the docks at dark. You arranged to meet him, remember? You were climbing on him?
I wasn't climbing on him, she'll say. I was just talking softly to him and encouraging him in certain areas.
Keep doing
Jeez,
that.
stop. I know less.
And he'll probably agree to work for you for nothing. Like,
I know bards with less libido. Just get it over with.
I try not to associate with bards.
Doesn't
The
everybody?
funny thing is that's also Ryan talking there.
Maybe. All right, guys. This was fun. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay.
for-
Yeah,
That's
you're
great. It was
welcome.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isaac,
Okay.
we have a Sentinels game to go.
I'm already there.
Thank you guys for playing, and anybody who watches now or in the future. And I will end the broadcast.
Have a good